Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the least requested, least demanded, and the least downloaded wrestling podcast, PCW. This could be a long podcast, so strap in and shut up and don't be a little bitch about it.
To the masters. Ruthless aggression. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of PCW. I am your host, Wayne. You can call me Semi-Dry Chicken. And let me bring out my co-host. Dre with the new music.
Yeah. What it do, PCW crew? New year, new music.
Right, all right. And Doyle.
Oh, it's me. It's the Doyle. And let me tell you, I am so glad to be talking about sports entertainment because real sports has been shitting all over me lately. So let's talk some pro wrestling.
Yeah, but you know what, guys? We got a surprise guest. Oh, yes, we do. Returning to the show.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game, and how you play it. All about control, and if you can take it.
Welcome back, Carlos.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man, I feel like you're about to give us some draft picks when I heard that theme music hit. You know? About to
I might
announce
as well,
draft
bro.
picks. Yeah, I know. Well, you know what, guys? The draft is over. It's finally over. And you know what? It was not so exciting. A lot of the drafts were very predictable. I mean, we saw championships change shows, which we knew was going to happen. Well, champions change shows. I kind of figured Roman would probably go to SmackDown. We'll talk about the World Heavyweight title then. But I mean, the women's titles changing shows, we kind of saw that coming. We knew that, shocker, the Intercontinental in the United States changed shows. Oh God, didn't see that one coming. Couples go together. The Street Profits with wherever Bianca Belair goes, Montez Ford is to follow. Same thing with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. I mean, so some of these were kind of predictable, but I'm just gonna rant right now because this bothered me from the get-go. Free agents. What the fuck? We talked about how are they going to keep these rosters separated? Are we going to actually see Raw wrestlers stay on Raw, SmackDown wrestlers stay on SmackDown? We know this will take effect after Backlash this weekend. And Triple H did announce that Brock Lesnar is a free agent where he could go from brand to brand. Okay, I understand Brock Lesnar. I get it. He's too big for one brand. Sure, whatever. Brock does whatever the fuck Brock wants to do. But the other guys that become free agents, Uh, free agents here. Let me list off here some of these guys that got the same kind of contract, I guess you could say. You know, they negotiated their contracts. Baron Corbin, who, by the way, Baron Corbin just picked up his first win since November. Beat Rick Boogs, and he got a massive pop for it. I don't know if anybody has seen it floating around online, but
Yeah,
Baron
in
Corbin
Paris.
gets a massive pop.
Yep.
He's over like Rover in Paris.
Right.
There.
This doesn't make sense. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Can't put them on SmackDown, so they're free agents. You know, Dolph Ziggler, Elias, Mustafa Ali. You know, those guys, especially Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is a workhorse. I guess realistically, it's to make these guys are workhorses that are willing to work both shows and be on the road. I mean, that's how I see it. I see it. These guys are on the road, are going to be on the road more. Whether it's dark, it's dark matches, house shows, whatever. Calling up from NXT, Von Wagner, Zion Lee, Zion Quinn. I think that's how you pronounce it. So imagine getting called up from NXT to be a free agent. And then the biggest one, Omos with MVP, free agent. So
Not only do they do this ridiculous free agent thing, when they don't even so they go through all the rigmarole to at least mention these people that they're not apparently going to draft either brand. When they don't even mention Alexa Bliss, they don't even mention Randy Orton, and I mean, who knows what's going on with him? But like Alexa is somebody that's been on our TV pretty recently, anyway. And we're not even going to mention her.
Mm-hmm. There's a list of
as dumb
people. There's a list of people who weren't even on there because they're on the injured list. Like I have the list here. We have Ciampa, R-Truth, Shanky, Aaliyah, Logan Paul, Robert Roode. Now, some are out for injury, some are out for Carmella is having a baby. So that's why she's out. Understandable. Big E, Randy Orton, Alexa Bliss, like you said, and Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy.
And the New Day got drafted, and they didn't even mention Big E.
Yeah.
In fact, they kind of went out of their way to not mention Big E. Kind of weird.
Sure, but as dumb as it all is, and I agree it is, the free agent concept is kind of dumb. When you look at the names in all of them, there's legitimate, well, not kayfabe, but legitimate non-kayfabe reasons for these people. Why is Brock Lesnar a free agent? Because he's a big name part-timer, and they're basically going to call him up whenever they need him for whatever. So you don't want to limit him to just Raw or SmackDown. All these other, and outside of Brock Lesnar, Omos, and Elias, Mustafa, and all these other people, what are they all basically? Jobbers. Mm-hmm. They're jobbers with no direction. They ain't got shit to do with their characters. They basically, as much as I hate to say it, aren't worth a draft pick. So they're just basically jobbers. So, hey, we need y'all to go on this show and lose to these people. Okay, cool. That's all the free agents. And all the people who were not named, huh? Yeah. And all the people who are not named are basically people who are out injured.
Yeah.
Or full part-timers like John Cena or Logan Paul.
Yeah.
So what happens when Alexa Bliss comes back? Do we have to have like a supplemental draft?
No, she'll just come back and they'll say, no, you know how they'll do it. She'll come back and they'll say she signed a contract with so-and-so.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just so ridiculous that they sometimes are so stringent about the rules, and other times throw them right the fuck out the window.
I mean, if she
wasn't... Hey, if you don't like it, you need to go start your own wrestling league like Tony Khan.
Right? Somebody wants to be
like Omos literally had a match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and he is on this pay-per-view card against Seth Rollins.
Uh-huh.
But this guy is considered a free agent. Like he's either he's too good to be on either show, or he's not good at all to be like nobody wanted him.
And it's absolutely the latter. What direction does he have? All he does is squash no names and lose to people with names.
Mm. Yeah, and Doyle, like you were talking about last person drafts, I guess you can put Baron Corbin up there, right? I mean, as a free agent, these are considered last picks.
Yeah, they're all jobbers.
All fucking jobbers.
Omos is a guy that I think could stand to go down to NXT for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should make NXT like they do over there across the pond for soccer. Mm-hmm. If a team is at the very bottom, then they get relegated to the lower tier. So they should make that where like the free agents or the jobbers that aren't cutting it get relegated to NXT, and they have to build themselves back up to make it to the main roster.
That's kind of a fun idea.
Yeah, and
that's a good, interesting idea.
Yeah,
provided that they
point
were
systems in
willing
wrestling
to commit to that storyline.
Point systems in wrestling never work.
Yeah, right. Speaking of NXT, this year, I think this is the most NXT call-ups we've had. 18 wrestlers from NXT. Now, I'll go through the list here, but 18, that's a lot.
Sean got his pockets ran.
Sean, yeah, right? Like, they not only took the tag team champions, the women's tag team, they took the women's champion, but I'm going to go through this list. We got Indy Hartwell, who did have to give up her NXT women's title, which I thought was kind of weird because they normally don't do that, but she's also out with an injury right now. Apollo Crews, who went back down to NXT, but now he's coming back up to the main roster. JD McDonough, Zoe Stark, Katana Chance with Kaden Carter as a tag team, Inda Shear, Jinder Mahal, former world heavyweight champion, by the way, who won his world title at Backlash against Randy Orton. He'll be coming with Veer Mahan and Sangha, Odyssey Jones, Alba Fry and Isla Dawn as a tag team, Pretty Deadly as a tag team, Cameron Grimes, who hasn't been on NXT in a hot minute, and Grayson Waller. I mean, that's a lot of NXT guys, but you notice Braun Breaker, recent long-running NXT champion, not on the list.
And that's probably more surprising than anything is the fact that he was not called up, because I'm pretty sure everybody expected him to be one of the first people to get called up from NXT after the run that he's had.
Yeah, that might be one of the only surprises, really, of the evening. It was that he didn't get drafted.
Sean's just like, please, let me just keep one of them. Let me just keep Braun at least. God damn. But yeah, they got post hard. So I'm kind of interested to see, who on the current NXT roster can now kind of move up and get a little more TV time. What new wrestlers do they have from the Performance Center coming through? Because sometimes you'll hear about like, oh, they signed so-and-so to the Performance Center. I haven't heard a lot of signups. Right now they're on a hiring freeze. So they're not allowed to hire any more current wrestlers. Mickey James' husband was supposed to be coming over, and he eventually ended up going to Impact Wrestling because they're not hiring any more superstars. So yeah, NXT's gonna look kind of bare for the next couple months. So it'll be interesting.
Well, don't they have a number of people that we've never even seen on television that are just under contract, but just in development or whatever they call it? Like
exactly.
So I mean, it's time to put some of them in front of the camera and see what.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly right. Like they poaching all these people. Yeah, it may look bad for NXT on the surface until you think about how deep their roster is. Yeah. And really, all they've done is just free up space for some of these newer people to finally get on TV and start to make names for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll talk about some of these odd choices for the way the draft, I guess you should say, the way the draft goes. Okay, we were talking about it off air a little bit, but so Rhea Ripley gets drafted, but then the rest of Judgment Day gets drafted later. to the same roster. We didn't have any tag teams break up. We didn't have any stables break up, but yet they were drafted separately. Like, why would you not just like? I feel like it's so stupid to waste a draft pick and not just draft them together. And they also did that. The bloodline. They did that with them too. I mean, draft. I get it. Maybe the factor of the Usos might not be on the same brand as Roman, but like I don't know, it's showing cracks in the foundation with them being drafted separately. There's been a lot of tension in the bloodline, and Roman hasn't, as they say, Roman hasn't contacted any of the Usos since WrestleMania. So I just pictured in my head, the Usos trying to contact Roman constantly, just like, dear Roman, I texted you, but you still ain't calling. I tried reaching out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, but I feel like you got me blocked. It just seems like they haven't been able to get a hold of Roman at all. I don't know. What other odd draft picks did you guys think were kind of weird the way they went about them? What was like?
It was odd that Teddy Long represented Raw one night and SmackDown the next night. Like, what shouldn't if he's gonna be? I get it if they're gonna have him both nights, fine. But why not have him read for the same brand each time? Like, there's not even a veil of kayfabe here. It's all just purely ridiculous. Like, I wish they would just say like, hey, guess what? On May, whatever it is, we're gonna have different rosters. End of story. Like, why go through all this hoopla and rigmarole? It makes no sense.
I was also disappointed that Teddy Long didn't just do like a joke on JBL and say that he had to face the Undertaker.
Yes, 1-on-1 with the Undertaker.
Or he would draft the Undertaker, and then somebody comes out and whispers in him like, "Hey, he's been retired for a couple of years now, so you can't draft him." But I think I heard a rumor that Ric Flair was supposed to be on one of the nights to do some of the drafts, and maybe that's why that they had him on two nights in a row. I mean, it's possible.
I mean, I was under the impression Flair was in the doghouse because he went off script during the Hall of Fame ceremony.
No, not Ric Flair. He's
It's
never
hard to
been in
believe.
the
He
house.
put himself more over than he did Muda. I think it's the thing.
Mm-hmm. It's the Flair way, huh?
And he mentioned Sting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, overall, the draft itself, there, as you said before, there really was very little surprise to any of it.
Mm-hmm.
All these picks were, for as much as they hyped up the thing and like, shake the foundation of the WWE and everybody's eligible and all this, that, and third, and create this suspense as if we're actually going to see things of consequence, and nothing of any real significance happened. Like you said, they switched the Intercontinental and US titles, which we all kind of saw happening because Gunther seems more primed for a push to the next level than Theory. They switched the Raw and SmackDown champions, Bianca and Rhea Ripley. That was a bit surprising to me, a bit. I'll give it that. That was probably one thing that surprised me when they announced.
I don't recall anybody having that on their card.
No, none of us had that. Like, when they announced Bianca going to SmackDown, yeah, I was legitimately surprised. But at the same time, I also immediately knew that the Street Profits were going to go over there because, like we said, the whole concept of keeping married couples together, which again makes sense. But other than that, you look down all the picks, and these are run of the mill, nothing of real consequence or real major impact. It kind of almost seems like they damn near wholesale swapped Raw and SmackDown as a whole, as far as at the top.
Right.
Bianca, Bobby Lashley, Edge, a lot of the top people from Raw just went over to SmackDown, and then a lot of the top people on SmackDown went over to Raw, and most of the mid-carders kind of stayed the same.
Well, here's the thing. They've been paying so little attention to this brand split. Like, a lot of people got drafted where they were originally, but you didn't remember that because who the fuck could keep track of who was anywhere? You know, like Rollins has been on Raw this whole time. I guess that makes sense. He stays. The Bloodline's in SmackDown, but they've been all over the place. So they're staying where they were. Cody's staying on Raw, even though he's been on both shows all the time. The LWO's been on both shows all the time, but they're on SmackDown, which is where they stayed. You know,
No, LWO went to Raw.
I thought they went to SmackDown.
Yes. The LWO.
LWO is on SmackDown.
No. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right. They are.
That's another one. Like a huge stable, including Rey Mysterio in that.
Yeah.
There
was like people in one draft pick.
Yeah. Why would you not pick them like higher up? Like, you know.
You got a Hall of Famer, a real good mid card guy, two goobers, and a really good female. Like,
and then they lose.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been losing ever since they formed this stable. So
they're gonna soon be called Loose World Order. You know, if they keep this shit up. But
even though they're one of their top merch sellers right now,
top merch sellers. Which
LWO shirts are flying off the fucking shelves.
Yeah,
they get a good pop every time they show up.
Yep.
And then y'all have them lose all the damn time.
But they're also fighting the top heel. You know, the guy getting the most heel heat. So like, okay, be over if they're fighting the biggest heel.
They don't. Nobody's saying they have to come out on top completely, but there should at least be some back and forth, especially given that that they're split now, supposedly after Backlash, because Judgment Day's on Raw and LWO's on SmackDown. So they just beefed with these guys, pretty much got their shit kicked in for a month and a half or a month, and then we don't get a final resolution from it, or maybe they'll get their final win at Backlash. Who knows? What have you? But there should have been more back and forth between them to at least try to give LWO a little bit more credibility and, you know, take advantage of this pop and this merchandise that they moving for y'all.
Well, I think, it's getting ahead of ourselves, but I think Backlash is going to end with a bunch of people in LWO shirts celebrating. So let's not say that they're not going to get a big win, because I think, even though I guess technically it wouldn't be the LWO winning.
I mean, yeah, that's what I said. I mean, they might get the potential win.
They'll be there. They'll be by proxy. They'll be there by proxy because they're going to be standing there.
Yeah. Like I said, they might get the win then, but still going into it, there should have been more back and forth between these two.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But then Judgment Day never wins either. It doesn't feel like. I mean,
well, it seems like Rhea's the only one that wins.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, when she got drafted, by herself, I was like, "Oh, cool! They're finally gonna split her apart because she, Finn is a goof and Dom is shit on the mic, whether you agree or not. And Damian Priest isn't doing as hot either on the mic. Neither of them.
They've all got marbles in their mouths.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping that Judgment Day would have broken up, but no, nobody broke up. Maybe they'll break up on that roster. Who knows? Some of these groups, but
well, I mean, I think some of those factions deserve a story where they're deserve a breakup story, not just to be haphazardly broken up in the draft.
Right.
I agree with that.
You could have done that with Alpha Academy maybe, and that would have been fine. But Judgment Day's been around for what, a year at this point. They deserve more than just okay, you guys are done now.
Yeah, I agree. Like, a faction deserves to be broken up with some sort of storyline. Tag teams, however, you can split them motherfuckers.
Well, I mean, I don't know that I want them to split the Street Profits. I think or not split the Street Profits. I think I want a story there. I don't know if I want to just see them go, oh, let's go our separate ways. Okay, buddy. See you down the road. I kind of want them to go after each other.
I'd have been good with them getting a split. They kind of teased the possibility of it going into the draft.
They've been doing that a lot.
Right. I would have been happy. I would have been perfect. They did it with Alpha Academy and Street Profits. And honestly, I think it would have been better for them both to split and just, let them have their final farewells and hey, maybe one last match for the road that night. I think that could have been better storytelling. Like, damn, we've been split. All right, well, fuck it. We're going to have one last match here on Raw. We're going to go out on top or go out with a dub. And, let them get their a good farewell. That would have been at least good for the show. And then send them on their way. To me, that's good enough because they don't need much of a storyline to it unless you're going to pit them against each other. And if you're splitting them up, obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you could have also probably had like some stipulations for some of these tag teams where if they don't win the title or if like their last chance, then they get split up or something like that, and make it seem like it more heartbreaking when they have to break up.
Right. Now, speaking of titles, how do you guys feel like they're gonna handle the tag titles? Like, or do you think we'll get those titles actually split? Do you think that they'll like merge those two titles and then we'll get like a whole new set of tag titles on the other show? The same with, Roman's titles. Like, will they eventually, combine the WWE and Universal and we'll have one title on that show? Or are we going to keep this 3 title bullshit?
Yet another thing that they did in this draft that made no sense. Like, not only did they, everything's supposed to be exclusive now. So now your tag team champions are exclusive to SmackDown, even though they have quote unquote both belts. Are you going to force them to relinquish the Raw belts because they're exclusively SmackDown? What are you going to do? The women's tag team, they're exclusive to Raw now, right? Liv and Raquel. Yeah. They're Raw exclusive. So are they defending those only on Raw? Are the SmackDown have to get their own tag team titles? That don't sound like a good idea because you barely do anything with your tag titles that they got now, let alone try to manage 2 of them, which is another reason why they should have brought in some goddamn mid-card titles. I'm going to keep banging that table. But they did not solve a single one of their title problems with this draft.
Now, I didn't watch SmackDown. Sorry, I thought you were done.
Oh, go ahead. I'm done.
I didn't watch SmackDown. Did Alba Fire and that other girl lose their titles, or did they still have them?
I'm not sure. I still think they have them.
NXT.
Yeah, so I was like,
they got called up with the belts.
Yeah, because my thing
and so I've been number 1 contenders.
Yeah, I was like, they're gonna be turned into like the SmackDown tag titles, and then we won't we won't have tag titles in NXT no more because literally you just post all the tag teams in there. So, like, are you just gonna make those the SmackDown tag titles, and then we'll have 2 women's tag titles? Like, sure, like double up on the problem. Like, you barely had enough tag teams before and storylines and feuds, but like, let's double up now.
Right. And aren't the NXT tag champions facing the number 1 contenders, and then all 4 of those women get drafted to the main roster?
Yeah, all 4 of them got
right. So what the hell is the point of the tag title match? If that, I don't know if it happened already or not, but
it should have happened yesterday.
Yeah. What the hell was the point of that? We got people fighting for a belt that is essentially meaningless to all of them.
Has the title picture in WWE ever been so bizarre,
convoluted?
Like coming out of this new title introduction and the draft, I feel like we should have not be coming out with more questions than answers out of it, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Are there 3 world titles now? Like,
it's so messy.
Roman can't be the undisputed champion anymore, can he?
No.
That WWE championship that he has says World's Heavyweight Champion on it. And that's what they're calling this other title. So that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Here's I have a proposal though for the women's belts. We should call them something other than the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm not sure what you want to call them. But then you don't have to switch them over. If like with the US and the Intercontinental, you can just switch them over. Like, because now I'm as the resident title reign nerd, I'm concerned about Bianca's Raw Women's Championship title reign? Like, is that ending and she's starting over with the SmackDown title at 0? Like,
Yeah,
that doesn't seem fair, right?
That's messy as hell because, that's also messy because she's the Raw Women's Champion. When she got drafted, she cut a little video package saying SmackDown Women's Championship.
Right.
She's defending the title she's defending the Raw Women's Championship against a SmackDown competitor, Io Sky.
Right.
Yep.
Rhea Ripley is the SmackDown Women's Champion defending the title against a SmackDown person and Zelina Vega, but she's been drafted to Raw. We know damn well ain't neither one of them gonna lose. Bianca ain't losing to Io, and Rhea ain't losing to Zelina. So at the end of this, they'll be locked on their rosters with opposing belts.
Mm-hmm.
And they created this scenario that, at least in the case of the women's titles, they could have solved that very, very easily by just having those two women on Raw this past week just swap titles. It was that damn simple. It could have been a simple 5-minute.
I mean, that's happened before, right?
Right. It could have been a simple 5-minute in-ring segment where Adam Pearce calls both of them out. He says, y'all two, yada yada, y'all got to swap the belts. That's the solution.
I think that's what eventually happened.
Sure, but it should have been done before.
Yeah, but the rosters haven't taken effect yet.
But that's the problem, though. That's the problem. That's why it should have happened. That's why it should have happened before, because at least before you could have both of them on the same show and done a segment like this. But after the pay-per-view, supposedly they're locked down. So how do you get those two in the ring at the same time in order to do that belt swap? That's why it should have been done beforehand. You could have further teased the possibility of a Bianca Rhea Ripley match down
Backlash.
That's right. I mean, that's what it's going to end up being. It's going to be like some WWE.com exclusive or some stupid YouTube video clip or something that they do maybe backstage at Backlash afterwards or whatever. But that's a waste.
But
that's a waste of a perfectly good segment that they could have done on Raw this past week.
Yeah, but it also makes the card more predictable because, just like you mentioned, that Rhea's not going to lose to Zelina, and then that Bianca's not going to lose to Io.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what's the point? You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it out loud, actually, Bianca could actually lose to Io because they're on SmackDown, both of them. So that one could actually happen, but
okay. So then what happens?
One,
Okay, then what happens? Io becomes the Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown.
Well, then they could do the belt swap thing when Rhea retains and things like that.
I wish they would just.
No, it's not happening, but it's a possibility. That was more of a possibility, knowing how the way the draft went.
They should just make it where champions are not included in the draft. Like the Raw Women's Champion is not included in the draft. The SmackDown Women's Champion not included in the draft. I understand the complications with the heavyweight titles, and if the tag team titles were split, they just shouldn't be included in the draft. I think they've done it before. Champions were off limits.
Sure, and I hear that, but the problem with that is when you have a guy like Gunther, who is primed for the next level, more so than Austin Theory, and you want to give Gunther more shine and put him in front of more eyes, and you want to get him on Raw, you got to move him. But if you just have him locked, champions are excluded, then he's stuck on SmackDown. You don't have any way of getting him to Raw unless he drops the title. And if you don't want to kill his momentum that he has as champion, especially if you have, plans on him surpassing Honky Tonk Man's record or such. So that's the problem with excluding champions from the draft.
Speaking of titles, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I wish they would just change the title, the names of the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships to call one the Global Champion and the other one, the Continental Champion, so whatever. I don't care. That way, then they're not tied to a show. You don't have this fucking problem. This is now the second time they're going to have to switch the women's titles because they switched the champions. It's just like, why keep doing this to yourself? Why don't just call them something else and then you don't have to worry about it?
Just fucking up the lineage of the title when you go
not fucking. Yeah.
Right.
They could have just left them as is and just not fucking swapped them. Just
Oh,
for
yeah,
me,
that's for
just
sure.
could have left Bianca on Raw and left Rhea on goddamn SmackDown since they were the champions.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And the only reason why
But-
it seems like the only reason why they made that switch is because they want to push Rhea. They want to build her up as another top women's wrestler, the same way they've done with Bianca for the last year. And to do that, they need her in front of more faces, which means putting her on Raw. And as a compromise to SmackDown, because one thing we haven't talked about is that we know that part of these choices involved WWE negotiating back and forth with the networks, with Fox and USA. So, and I'm sure they had a say in some of how these rosters were constructed in terms of their interests and such. Like SmackDown, okay, and Fox, yeah, you get Roman Reigns, but he's a part-time guy. So, as compensation for you having a world champion that's barely ever going to be on television, we're going to load your roster up with more top-tier talent. That's why we see somebody like a Bianca Belair, who's one of the top women in WWE, go over to SmackDown. While simultaneously you put Rhea, who's an up-and-comer, who is the champion, but is still rising up in terms of, you know, popularity and being at that top talent. You put her on Raw in front of more faces, and it works. So, I mean, and from that standpoint, I get the decision, and it does make sense. They just really should have handled the belts better.
Well, like, why can't a kayfabe version of that be the draft instead of the draft? You know, like what? And wouldn't it be more interesting to have kayfabe Fox and USA executives having those kind
Hell
of?
yeah.
Like
If
that
they-
would be so much more interesting.
Yeah, it would have been hella interesting if they'd have gone like more inside football with it, where
Yeah,
they would have took us
I mean,
like actually in the room and had, like
Yeah,
you said,
what they present on
kayfabe,
TV
Fox,
doesn't
and
need to
USA
be the real
executives
thing.
negotiating back and forth and shit, and actually take a page out of, like, you know, the actual NFL draft, or take a page out of, you know, like ESPN, you know, like, rather than just having like all these backstage interviewers you have. Make one of the motherfuckers like a pseudo Adam Schefter type, you know. I got inside information about such
Yeah.
and such. You know
They
what
could
I'm saying?
have like a whiteboard on the wall. They could slide each other envelopes and be like, "Well, here's my
Right.
offer. Oh, here's my counter offer." You know what I mean?
Right. Rather than just having them people just there just to hold a mic for a wrestler to talk, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Making shit
Instead
like
of Rob Van Dam coming out and, like, you know,
Holding the
Right.
draft upside down.
yeah.
or right, or have like, you know, have like Caleb Braxton on SmackDown saying, you know, I got some exclusive rumors about, you know, such and such.
Yeah.
Or have her little report, you know, breaking news. I just found out that so and so is set to be, you know, drafted. We'll have to wait till Monday Night Raw to see if it's actually confirmed. But the rumor is right now that so and so is, you know, do a spoiler type thing beforehand instead of just waiting it out. Yeah, they could have done much better with this draft had they really put more effort into it.
Yeah, and what's Pat McAfee up to? That's like your sports guy, isn't he? On ESPN College Day pregame thing. Why could have just used that guy for a couple of segments on doing what
Yeah.
you just described?
Yeah, they could have. I mean, if they would have, they probably would have had to pay him for it, because Pat McAfee is very much a independent free agent guy. Like, he works with WWE, but it's kind of hard to say that he works for WWE. Like,
Yeah.
he can probably come and go as he pleases.
Well, guys, I have a clip here I want to play from Raw this week about the World Heavyweight title involving none other than Paul Heyman.
And your tribal chief, I assure you, will take care of all business items. And one of them, as a bit of a preview, is that hunk of beautiful gold up on that podium right now. Oh, come on. Wouldn't that title look relevant around the waist of your tribal chief, Roman Reigns? Here we are, almost 1,000 days into a historic title reign. Talk about undisputed. Not one title, not two titles, but 3 titles. You create a championship, and Roman Reigns will dominate that title to the main event of WrestleMania. And of course now, Roman Reigns can't compete for that title because Roman Reigns will not be here on Monday Night Raw. You know what really is the worst about that? Is that now all the children in the locker room who think that they're men are running around flapping their gums about your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. People who should know better. Men who need to start acting like men. Men who are freaking jokers. Men who are freaking jokes. Men who are freaking clowns who are still living on.
Seth freaking Rollins. Well, I thought it was kind of funny mentioning the fact that Roman Reigns could be holding that title around his waist, and right away the crowd did not like that shit. I've seen so many memes of like Roman Reigns like holding like every fucking title. But there's like, I'm seeing it all over the place that they're talking about how Roman Reigns could be holding the world title all the way to WrestleMania. And now I'm seeing that he could be safe all the way up to September of 2024. What the fuck? Now, guys, knowing that a certain wrestler is going to be holding on to his title for another year and a half, that takes the excitement out of it. It takes the excitement.
If they want to go for the San Martino record, he'd have to hold it till Backlash of 2028.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going that far, but
I don't think they are either.
No, they I think there's a good strong possibility they may want him to pass Hulk Hogan's record though.
Right. But like, okay, so from now until then, like every pay-per-view, like all our predictions, it's gonna be just Roman for the win. Like we won't even need to discuss it. Like the feud is gonna be, to me, kind of pointless because at the end of the day, Roman's gonna win anyway. There's no chance. There's no silver lining. There's no, like, Cody could win this title. Like, Cody could legit be the guy to beat Roman Reigns. No, not no more. No, it's like their solution is like, we're just gonna let him rack up these days, 1,000+ days, and continue. But like nobody's able to beat him, so we're just gonna create a whole nother fucking title on another show. And that's exactly what they fucking did. And honestly, like, I fucking hate the world title the way it looks. I'm not a fan of this design. Some people love it. I've seen it on Twitter. There's like 9 out of 10 people don't like it, but there's that one guy who's like, oh, this is fucking beautiful. The huge W in the fucking center, because heaven forbid, like, they just bring back the old big gold belt. That's what I wanted. That's what I was hoping for. And the crowd reacted that way too when they showed that title. Like, it looked like not a lot of people were happy to see that. People were probably expecting Big Goldie. Carlos, what this world title, or are you a fan of the older world title?
I am. If I had to choose between only these two titles, then I'm a fan of the Big Goldie, the WCW World Heavyweight title.
Mm-hmm.
That one's just like, it just looks like a championship.
Right.
It doesn't look like anything, like, kind of like, I don't want to say gimmicky, but the way that thing looks to me, the newer belt, it looks like it's more of, the face is more of like a championship ring.
Yeah.
Like, if you see all these like team sports and you'll see the championship ring and you see that looks like what a championship ring would look like in just to me. But everything else it's not impressive at all to me. And then I think the W is like an off black or a matte black, and you can't even see it.
Yeah, and like when you say a Big Goldie, when you see that big gold title, you automatically right away you start thinking of the former champions who've held that title. You think of Edge, you think of Undertaker, you think of Batista, John Cena, and now you take it back to WCW days. Obviously Triple H, Sting. You think of Hulk Hogan. You think of all those people, all those guys who've held that big gold belt. That's who I think of when I see that title. Now, when I see this title, I think of nobody could have beaten Roman. This is a pity prize. The second place. That's what not even second, third place, because this is the third fucking heavyweight title.
Yep, you're not wrong. Like WWE is definitely painting themselves into a corner with this new belt because, like you said, the reaction to it has very much been mixed. Some people like it, some people hate it. Paul Heyman didn't do him any favors with that promo he cut on Monday Night Raw. He basically damn near practically buried the belt before anybody ever got a chance to win it, making it already seem like a consolation belt. That's clearly the overwhelming narrative happening online about the belt, is that it's a consolation type prize. As far as it's just a sidestep for a minute, as far as how the belt looks, I'm not impressed with it. Obviously, it's meant to be a nod to old Big Gold and such, because we know how much of a fan Triple H is of NWA and that thing. So hence why he, had himself given the World Heavyweight title when they brought it back in 2003 or whatever year, and why this new one is basically seems like a modern revision of the two. Personally, I would have preferred just a whole new design. I don't like the fact that this is kind of somewhat of an updated kind of version of the old World Heavyweight Championship. It doesn't look good with that big WWE logo in the middle. It's not large enough, and like Carl said, it doesn't stand out. It's not prominent, being that I'm assuming it's like a silver or just a polished look, and in contrasting with the gold, it doesn't stick out enough. Like, it probably could have used maybe some black or something in there just to help the logo itself stand out.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look that great. Damn sure doesn't look as good as Big Gold. I would not have wanted them to bring back Big Gold. I'm thinking, like, I'm of the mindset that let those old belts stay where they are.
Okay.
They're old belts. They have legacies. If you're going to start something new, create a new belt. So I give them credit for creating a new belt, but this wasn't the best design for it. And as it stands now, they've kind of, like I said, they've painted themselves into a corner of how do they make this belt have any kind of credibility. And I think because of how the belt is being viewed by people and the position that belt is starting from, I think it may be jumping ahead a little bit. I think there's only one person in the entire Raw roster who can win that belt and have any chance of giving it any kind of credibility. And that's Seth Rollins. I think he's the only person that you can put that belt on and have any chance of giving that belt any credibility, because Seth Rollins, the one thing that he has over anybody else is that he can make the argument that Roman Reigns has been ducking him. Because the last time they faced, Roman Reigns didn't pin him. He got himself DQ'd, if I'm not mistaken, to hold on to the title. And he hasn't faced Rollins since. So Rollins can sit there and hold the title and say that, nah, bitch, I ain't no secondary champion. I ain't no consolation champion. I'm the guy that you're afraid to face. I'm the guy that you couldn't pin. You know what I'm saying? So, you come if you really think you have any dreams of holding all three belts, come see me about this belt. And we know you ain't going to do that because you've been ducking me for the last 2 years. So he's the only person that I see on that roster that they can do that with. You damn sure can't put that belt on Cody now. Not after WrestleMania. Not after all that build up y'all did to WrestleMania just to have him lose, and then y'all gonna give him this. That's pretty much set in stone that belt is a consolation prize.
What if he beats Brock?
So the fuck what? Roman beat Brock.
It still feels like, a consolation prize. Like, you weren't good enough to beat Roman, so we're just gonna give you this third place trophy. That's what it feels like. Yeah. Speaking of this world title, let's talk about who we think runner-ups. They're gonna have a tournament. I asked you guys to pick 3 wrestlers on the Raw roster who you think could end up being the next world champion. Dre, I want to start with you. Like 3 wrestlers on the Raw roster.
Well, I just gave my answer. To me, there's only one. It's Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
After what happened after the Monday Night Raw and the promo that Paul Heyman cut, basically undermining the belt before anybody had a chance to get it. There's only one option, in my opinion, and it's Seth Rollins.
Cool.
Nobody else, I think, can give that belt any credibility.
Doyle.
Yeah, as far as the belts go, given the choice between the new belt or the Universal or either of Roman Reigns belts, I like the new one better. I hate the Roman Reigns belt, but it's all about marketing. You're never going to have another WWE Championship belt that doesn't have that logo huge on it, because they're giving it to the fucking Super Bowl champion now. The minute he wins they're giving it to Patrick Mahomes the minute that game's over. And he's running. And which belt do you want? You want the one Roman Reigns has, right? Regardless of what it looks like. But you're going to have the one. But they're going to take that. And because of that, it's always going to have.
Did WWE give him that belt? I thought that was just kind of like a inside thing that the Chiefs did. Because
no, Hunter, everybody. Every single sport.
Oh, okay.
Whoever wins the NBA title will be running around with the WWE.
I see it a lot. Yeah, it's like
Hunter sends it to all the major sports teams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a thing they actively do because they want the champion sitting there holding their thing, and that's why that logo is always going to be huge. But
Sure.
Yeah, Dre, you're absolutely right about Seth Rollins. For all you basically, it's like you copied my paper. Yeah, I mean, he's the only person that has the gravitas to fucking dig the hole they dug themselves. To undig the hole they dug with this new championship. Yeah, I think it's absolutely Seth Rollins. I don't think it's Cody, of course. And Cody's story specifically is for the WWE championship that his father couldn't win, right? So this doesn't really do anything for him. But other than if it's not Seth, say Seth Rollins gets struck by lightning tomorrow, we have to pivot. I would look at Nakamura maybe, or even Gunther if you want to. If you think it's time to level him up officially. But yeah, I think it'll be Seth Rollins. I think that's super obvious.
Yeah.
Carlos.
More interesting question is, what the fuck does Roman walk around with 2 belts still? Are they still? Will they ever be defended separately? Are they going to combine that into a new championship? What's the lineage of this new championship going to be? Are they going to take it back to the old World Heavyweight Championship? Or are they just going to start fresh day one with a new lineage? I don't know what's going on with that.
They kind of got to give him one belt now, right? Like, he's going to look stupid if he's still walking around with 2 belts, knowing damn well he ain't defending either one of those individually.
Yeah, I see.
And
Yeah,
they could have so easily gotten themselves out of it. They painted themselves into this stupid corner, and now they've got 3 belts. And they did used to have 3 belts. Remember, they had the WWE ECW Championship for a while, but they also had 3
different shows,
and they don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense.
They should just consolidate and just call it the WWE Championship again. Just drop the Universal.
I agree. I've always hated that.
Yeah, the Universal never really sounded credible.
No,
hell no.
Universal Championship. Okay, whatever.
Carlos, are you thinking the same thing, Seth freaking Rollins?
Well, he is my number one overall choice to win this tournament. But you can make arguments for Drew McIntyre.
Yes,
he's gonna finally get his run at it now that he's separated from Sheamus and the rest of the Brawling Brutes. And then my other one that I was thinking of is, what if we get a way to separate the Raw and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions by having Kevin Owens betray Sami Zayn again in the tournament and then causing that breakup once again.
That's so possible. That is so possible because
I mean, that's the only way you're gonna be able to do it because you have to get those belts separated. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. Or else they're not gonna be able to go and have those belts defended in Japan or not Japan in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? As much as I'm so happy that both of these guys are tag team champions, but they they finished the story. Unlike Cody Rhodes, they finished the story. They won at the main event at WrestleMania. They won the tag team titles finally. So yeah, when they drop them, I'm totally down to see them out of the tag team division. We have so many other tag teams. I want to see Kevin Owens hold gold again. Big gold, like as a singles competitor, and Sami Zayn possibly get his first,
Yeah.
Yeah,
title.
that's a great. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't think of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously for me too, it's the same. It's Seth freaking Rollins. I agree, Carlos, and Drew McIntyre right behind him, and it's just so weird because you're looking at this roster, and it's like everybody be like, "Ooh, it's Cody Rhodes, right?" No, like I really think it's a good possibility. Like Cody might win with like some sort of a roll up or something at Backlash, and then get his ass beat, and then we don't see Cody Rhodes maybe until SummerSlam even. Like maybe he's just out for a while.
Oh, I think Cody loses the finals to I think Rollins gets his wins back against Cody.
Yep.
Yeah, Brock could call
And
it.
it's the further trials and tribulations of Cody Reynolds.
Yeah, Cody
Yeah,
has
yeah.
to survive Suplex City. What are you talking about, Doyle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I agree, I agree with you. If I'm booking it, it's gonna come down to Seth and Cody in the finals, and Seth finally gets the win over Cody because Cody is currently up 3-0 on him, and that's gonna play part in. They had to play into the storyline. Seth finally gets the dub, and he becomes the champ. And the Kevin Owens thing, that's actually a very good. Huh?
And and you continue to put hard times on Cody, which is
Right.
what I think they're gonna do for the next couple months.
Yeah, and the Kevin Owens thing, that's actually a very good suggestion. Even though I don't think that's going to happen, but it is a very good suggestion of something that could happen. Maybe not for this first champion, but it could happen some point down the line. Because when you look at the Raw roster right now, post draft, they don't really have a top male heel. They are very much lacking in top heels. Gunther is a heel, but he's mid card still. He's rising up, but he isn't. He's still kind of mostly mid card for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bronson Reed still needs work.
Bronson Reed is still mid card. Drew McIntyre is a baby face. Seth Rollins is a baby face.
You can turn Drew with the drop of a hat. Though.
Sure. I'm just saying that where they stand right now.
What about Jinder Mahal? I mean, he's bringing over this.
He's not even a mid carder.
It's just it's crazy to think
and he's
this
part of a
man
clique.
was champion a few years ago at Backlash. Like, he's part of a clique. He's part of his own little group, his own little stable. But yeah, I don't see, unless
maybe they did get drafted to Raw, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they do try to build them up and make them top tier heels. But as it stands right now, Raw's biggest heel right now is probably fucking Finn Balor.
Yeah. Remember what
14
happened?
staples with Finn Balor.
Yeah. Remember what happened when Finn Balor won the Universal title when he was the first champion?
Yeah, and he lost it. He had to relinquish it because he got hurt. Right?
Yeah.
A day later.
Yeah, like I said, they are really lacking. So I mean, that little seed that you planted about KO betraying Sami Zayn, I think that is very much a real possibility on the table to happen some point this year.
Hell yeah.
Because Raw needs heels.
Thank you.
Oh, I absolutely think that's how it's gonna eventually play out. I think KO does. KO always gets turned on. I don't. I think he does the turning for once.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think that tag team makes it to SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think you're so right. You could bet $1 on that. I bet you're so right.
They're gonna fight forever.
Ah,
Yeah,
man.
that'll probably be a SummerSlam match, possibly. Sami Zayn versus KO.
Could be.
Yeah, right. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about the draft before we move on here?
Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus, yeah.
Yeah.
Trish Stratus. Drafted the Raw.
Yeah. Only surprising from the standpoint that she was even drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes me wonder, like, damn, how long is she about to make this little run that she's on with WWE? I honestly, I don't think she's going to be there every single week, but clearly if they went through the trouble of actually naming her as a draftee, as opposed to Lita, who they did not bother to list as a draftee.
Mm-hmm.
If they went through trouble of doing that, that implies to me that Trish has committed at least a few months to them.
She's
I would say about a year, if I had to say. If I had to think,
maybe a year.
I mean, a year with a couple of shows in between, like appearances, and like at a couple Raws, but like only fighting like at the main pay-per-views, like SummerSlam, Survivor Series, things like that.
Possibly something to that effect. I think she may wrestle a couple of Raws. I mean, obviously she's not going to be a workhorse out there every week, but she's clearly must have committed at least through SummerSlam at the bare minimum, if not all the way up to WrestleMania next year.
I mean, she even said in her promo, which was weird because that could have been a backstage segment. I'm not sure.
I disagree.
Captivates me holding a microphone in the middle of the ring by herself. But she said,
I'll let you go.
But she said, she basically said like, "Oh, I'm here to teach the young girls that I'm like one of the greatest of all time," and like, blah, blah, you know. So yeah, it's pretty easy to slot her in there. You know, even if it's just for a couple months or even up to a year. You know, I think that's built-in story right there.
Mm-hmm. I disagree with you I agree with everything you said, except for the fact that promo could have been a backstage segment. Absolutely not. I thought that promo that Trish cut on Raw was phenomenal. And it just showed just how good she is still after all these years. There are very few women on the WWE roster who can stand in that ring by themselves and cut a promo that strong and completely hold the audience's attention the entire time. There are very few women who can do that.
I mean, the outfit she was wearing, she definitely held my fucking attention. That's
like
for damn.
Very few women who can sit there and cut a promo that strong. I mean, that line that she delivered when she said, "I'm not your child." What she said, "I'm not your
childhood crush.
I'm not your nostalgia act.
Yeah,
I'm not your childhood fantasy." I'm like, that's a fucking bar. That is gonna go down. I promise you. When we do our end of the year, that's gonna be on my list probably of lines of the year.
Well, I think there's a photo floating around of a teenage Roman Reigns in his bedroom, and there's a Trish Stratus poster on the wall. I'm pretty sure it's Roman Reigns.
Possibly. I mean, granted, of course, now what she said is obviously false because I'm not your childhood fantasy. Bullshit. Yes, the fuck you were.
You were.
Don't you dare sit there and tell that goddamn lie.
I too had a poster of you in my fucking room. You bet
granted,
your ass
you might not have been my childhood fantasy, but you were my teenage.
Teenage
and young adult.
Yeah, still I mean, the way she's still hot as shit.
Yeah, but either way, like I said, that promo she cut was fire. Like as much y'all know how much I stand Bianca Belair, how much I'm a fan of hers. I don't think Bianca Belair could go in the ring by herself and cut a promo like that, like the way Trish did. Bianca works great. Like, and I mentioned it this past in the Discord this past Monday. Bianca works great when she's playing off somebody else in the ring, when she can bounce off somebody else, go back and forth. And that Bianca is phenomenal. But when she has to go in the ring and by herself and just cut a single promo, she kind of falls into just some cliche lines. She hasn't really built. I'm not saying she sucks at it, but it's not her strongest suit, especially when you compare it to the promo that Trish cut in the ring. Like Trish reminded everybody why she is considered one of the goats of women's wrestling. And yeah, I hope some women were backstage taking notes. Like, shit, I got to work on my mic skills.
Anything else about the draft you guys want to talk about before we move on here?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I think we've covered it all.
Covered that. We covered the world title. Yeah, I got some news. Let's move into some news here. Fucking news. All right, I did touch on some quick news here about Indy Hartwell getting injured and having to give up her title. There's rumors now that there was a stable that they were in called The Way. It had Indy Hartwell, Gargano, Candice LeRae, and Dexter Lumis all in a stable. Now that they're all on the same roster again, it's very possible that we could see that happen. Another rapid fire news. Unfortunately, Shane McMahon is expected to make his WWE in-ring return soon. Why?
Hopefully he blows out another knee.
I know that. I don't know why that broke news. Like, I guess he's training. He wants to come back soon. I think
he wants his last match.
Yeah, he wants that Saudi money.
So do I.
Yeah, we all want his last match. I mean, geez. Robert Roode could be out for an additional year with his neck injury.
Yeah.
That really sucks. Now that Triple H is, I say, quote unquote, in charge, because Robert Roode was definitely one of his guys, in NXT. So I thought, okay, now that him and Dolph Ziggler are apart, like maybe he would definitely get a push better, that he deserved. Because if you guys ever watched him in NXT, I mean, he had the gimmick, he had the rope, he had the music, he was a great heel. I liked him on the mic. And then when he came up to the main roster, it just seemed like he just got fucking buried.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Baron Corbin getting his first win since November of last year. Huge pop for Baron Corbin. Now, hopefully, is this going to make him a face? Why would they not? Yeah. Why would they not do his first win on TV? I don't get why it was in a dark match.
Let's think about that though. It was in France. Do you think he would have gotten a pop like that for a win here in the States?
Yeah,
I don't think.
Maybe not.
No, I think that was just France being France and just going off because obviously they're aware of his losing streak just like we are, and give them something and they just completely go off for it. Like if he would have gotten a win here in the States, the reaction could have varied depending on from city to city.
Right.
Somebody like Chicago might have gone ape shit for it, but Omaha, Nebraska might not have given two fucks. If anything, if there's anything that could work in Baron Corbin's favor for this is maybe they remember this if they do Clash at the Castle again later this year. If they bring it back and they remember like, oh, Baron Corbin's pretty over in the UK. Maybe we do something with this. That's probably about the best we can hope for. Until then, he's a jobber on Monday or Friday.
Rumor has it that Rhea Ripley could be considering a slight name change, calling Rhea Bloody Ripley. Sure, that might hit hard, 1 week out of the month, but I don't think. Whoa! I don't think we need to call her Rhea Bloody Ripley. It doesn't work as well as Seth freaking Rollins.
That's the exact same thing as Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I think it's unnecessary. You can just say Seth. Anytime Seth Rollins is on screen, you could go ahead and say Seth friggin' Rollins. But I don't think it needs to be on his chyron every time his name pops up on anything.
Yeah, but that's and it's kind of how things evolved. I mean, we could say that it sounds dumb and it won't work now, but who knows? Supposedly the story behind it is that she had a ring announcer introduce her as Rhea Bloody Ripley at a house show. So, maybe that was just a test to see, how the audience would
She
react
says
to
it in her promos all the time.
Right. She says it in her promos too. Yeah, I'm Rhea Bloody Ripley. It might not go over well with people here in the States, but could pop really well with people in the UK. So, and like I said, we've seen names evolve plenty throughout the history of wrestling. Rocky Maivia became The Rock. Who would have ever thought a name like The Rock could be one of the biggest names in wrestling? Something that simple. Or Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
It's not even the first Rock.
Yeah. Or Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Shawn Michaels starts nicknaming him Triple H. And next, that's what he becomes.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've seen evolutions in names before. So, it seems kind of silly now, but I wouldn't completely poo-poo it. Who knows where we might be a year from now if, Rhea becomes a face and she's shit talking some top heel and she's all up in her face like, bitch, I'm Rhea Bloody Ripley. And the crowd could go nuts over it. So,
but I mean,
we'll
everybody's
see.
got their own nicknames and shit. You don't need to make everything part of the actual syntax of, like Rebecca Quinn is still Becky Lynch. She doesn't need to be the man Becky Lynch. You can call her that every single fucking time she's on TV, but it doesn't need to ever appear in print as the man. Same with the Beast, Brock, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, all
Just
of them have
t-shirt.
say Cody Rhodes. Yeah, put it on a T-shirt, do whatever. You don't need to officially change their name to that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Now, guys, a former Divas champion has just left the company after 17 years. Could you guys take a wild fucking shot in the dark who that is?
I know.
Somebody who has been, huh?
I know.
Who is it?
Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
I was going to guess that.
Alicia Fox is still with the fucking company. She's only 36. But
what?
I never knew that she was still with the company.
I didn't know she was 36.
15 years or something like that.
Right?
She must have signed a really long contract.
So does this mean she was just, because the last time I saw her was a Legends night. They brought her out. Mm-hmm. So does that mean she had a Legends contract? Was she still getting paid?
I think she was doing PR appearances and shit for them.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was getting help, and I think they were helping her out.
Neil does.
Yeah, that makes sense. That a Legends contract, maybe doing some promotional stuff, kind of like what what's your boy?
Titus O'Neil.
Titus, yeah, like what Titus does. She could have been doing some stuff like that, and maybe they just finally decided, all right, we're done here. We'll let you go explore other options, especially if she may have still had desires to compete in the ring or get back into the ring one point, and someday, and WWE has no interest in that. So maybe they decide to let her go. Hey, if you still want to wrestle, you're free to go and join some other promotion if you want to do that.
So it seems like every couple episodes we have to talk about some sort of lawsuit, right? So I'm going to talk about one of these lawsuits out of the many. WWE has faced many lawsuits over the years, and they have needed to defend their name in court before. This time, they're in the hot seat for the fireworks they used at WrestleMania this year. Might have been too much of a boom for them. PW Insider reports an update on a lawsuit going on between a fan and WWE over WrestleMania 38. This fan claims that he lost his hearing thanks to the pyro. Now he wants to be paid and is asking for $1 million. As we previously reported, Marvin Jackson filed a lawsuit against WWE January 12th before the District Court of Tarrant County, Texas. Allegedly that he lost his hearing in his left ear while an invitee to WrestleMania 38 due to a pyrotechnics blast that occurred as a part of the WWE production. Jackson's lawsuit requested a jury trial and was seeking monetary relief of more than $1 million, including damages of any kind, penalty costs, expenses, prejudgment interest, and attorney fees. Yeah, well, what do you expect when you go to a WWE event? You
I'm
know,
about to say, like, a motherfucker, are you new
Fuck.
here?
that like, are you new? Like, you know, you're lucky. You were outside. Do you know what it's like when we listen to the pyro indoors? You know, Doyle, the Wells Fargo, when we went and saw Extreme Rules. That place isn't as big as people think it is. And when pyro goes off, pyro fucking goes off. You could be in the bathroom taking a shit, and you're gonna know that the pyro went off.
I bring earplugs to fucking absolutely everything, and that's why. Because
What?
I did way too much. Yeah, right. I did way too much not doing that as a kid, and I definitely permanently damaged my hearing a little bit for sure. But you don't see me suing anybody over it. It was my own stupid fault. I stood too close to the fucking speakers at a million punk rock shows and was way too cool to wear earplugs. You know, and now you catch me in the back row with earplugs in for sure. But yeah, I mean, this just speaks to how fucking litigious our society has become. This is just like the fucking lady that sued because her coffee was too hot, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
this is just somebody grasping at straws, you know, like it's I mean, I'm not a hearing expert. I can't speak to whether one or even a series of concussive events like that is enough to cause damage. But in my case, it was a ton. It was death by paper cuts. You know what I mean? It was a little here, a little there, a little. You know, it doesn't seem like that kind of thing. With one instance is enough to pinpoint it and say this is the thing, and you owe me $1 billion or $1 million because of it. You know.
Now
It's
WWE's gonna have to put
sue.
Yeah. Now WWE's gonna have to put a stupid disclaimer on like all their tickets or something like that.
Mhm.
This event does contain
It's
loud
probably already
noises.
on there. It's just in tiny, tiny letters.
Oh yeah, well if it's already on there, then dude, get fucked.
But like, yeah, you're so right, Dre. It's like, was this your fucking first time? Like, do you not know, like, that there's gonna be pyro, especially at WrestleMania? Especially at WrestleMania. What the fuck, dude? And where were you sitting? That and like, okay, so and $1 million, like that's a lot for like.
Now
and you're
is
only
that per
sitting-
ear?
Is that is that per ear? Because he said he only lost hearing in one.
Solid.
I'm like, holy shit! I'd be willing to take a hearing loss in one ear for $1 million. I mean, I'm thinking about it. You know, I'm just like, $1 million. I can still hear.
WrestleMania 40. Here we come.
Right. Powers go off. We're all sitting there like Hulk Hogan trying to funnel the fucking sound into our ear.
Oh my god!
Honestly, $1 million is not that much money. And if this guy is going to pay taxes and lawyer fees on top of, even if he wins $1 million, he's going to come away with like maybe
A few hundred K.
Yeah,
maybe. You know.
Yeah, you're so right. And the retrospect of it all, yes, you know, I'd be more asking for like fucking.
Maybe you can have $1 million if you didn't have 4 muscle cars. You know, just a thought.
Well, I think that was a jab at me.
It was in fact.
But I'd be like, no, I want every time you come to my city, my town, my state, I want fucking tickets. Like that.
And
you know,
$1 million.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
way more valuable, actually.
I want to be next to green shirt guy, you know?
I don't want to pay for a beer while I'm there.
Maybe
I
that's
want
how
to
green
go.
shirt
I
guy
want to
can
go in
afford
the
tickets.
backstage.
Yeah,
I want
I
to
want a
go.
free T-shirt. Exactly. Yeah.
I want to be. I want to be in the buffet.
I want to sit at Gorilla.
From Trish Stratus. You know, I want all these demands.
Yeah.
Now let's. I'm not going to open up this whole can of worms because we could honestly be here forever talking about this next lawsuit. WWE is sued by a former writer who alleges she was fired for pushing back on offensively racist scripts, and there's certain wrestlers that are included in this. Bianca Belair, Apollo Crews, even Mansoor. Just all types of, we've been hearing all over the internet, all types of goofy storylines that they've been pushing. And I've been seeing like a lot of storylines like this resurfacing from like older wrestling storylines that we've had, and people on Twitter, like, you know, I've answered a few of them. People are like, well, how comes they haven't brought up any of these? When this happened, I was like, because there was no social media. There was none. Who are you going to complain to? There. It's just now that you have a voice to voice your opinion, but some of these are just batshit crazy storylines, and like they were gonna do that Mansoor was behind the 9/11 attacks. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, is this some crazy? Is this some stuff that people were joking about backstage that got taken out of hand by another employee, or is this just another fucking crazy ass Vince McMahon fucking storyline? But like I said, we could sit here all day and talk about this these crazy can of worms of like all these crazy storylines like that they have for all these other superstars, and I get it. I get it, but yeah, what do you guys think about this? I mean, short and sweet.
It's gross. I mean, if it's true, it's gross.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is an industry that doesn't exactly have the best reputation when it comes to really anything involving anyone that isn't a straight white male. Honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the Discovery. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. But if all this stuff, I mean, there's how much shit is made it to TV that was disgusting. Like what was the terrorist character they had? And like he attacked the Undertaker, and they had
Muhammad Hassan.
Muhammad Hassan. That whole thing was gross.
I knew that right off the bat.
You've got a company that's founded and the former chairman or whatever the hell he is anymore. Said the N-word on TV more than once.
I was about to say, literally said the N-word on TV.
Or do-rag on TV. I mean, just for shits and giggles.
Well, I mean, anybody can wear a do-rag, but
can anybody wear a do-rag?
Anybody could say the N-word. I don't know that anybody should say the N-word, but that's not my fight.
Not on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it on television.
I mean, like, anybody can look at her claim and look at WWE's history and say, yep, she's probably 100% right. She probably she's probably in that writing room fighting for her life, trying to keep the dumbest shit off air. Like, even some of the stuff that's kind of come out since this lawsuit, that some ideas that have been rumored. Like, I think I saw one that said that alleged that they were going to have one of their Arabic wrestlers be on TV as the person behind 9/11. This is like
Mansoor.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you people doing in this writings room? And quite frankly, thank God for somebody like her being in the room to look at y'all and say, seriously, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Yep.
And to try to hold y'all back, because good Lord, if that shit wasn't, imagine how many freaking controversies WWE would have gone through over the years. And for them to turn around and treat her like shit because she's sitting there saving y'all dumbasses from doing shit because apparently y'all don't understand that, because y'all can't sit here and understand that, this dumbass shit that y'all may joke about with your in your own little circle ain't gonna fly with other people, and that there are other races that will actually get offended by this shit. It ain't jokes to some of these to other people. It's just it's not surprising, and I hope she gets whatever she wants from the lawsuit, because I'm inclined to believe that whatever she says, she's probably 100% accurate.
This is the antithesis of that other lawsuit.
Right. This is on the complete opposite end.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
God. Yeah. Of course it is. It's fucking ridiculous. It's just like I said. It just seems like we're always talking about lawsuits with WWE. It's just as a fan and trying to when people who are outside who aren't fans looking in, it's just like, damn, you guys got a lot of problems going on in WWE right now. Like, yeah, we fucking know. We got an old fucking guy. We're trying to get him out. We're trying to get him out. And and he even sold the company, but he's still fucking here. You know, I guess at this point it's just like it's gonna be what it is until he's fucking dead. Like, so I don't know if if you guys turn the channel to AEW. We'll talk about AEW for a hot second. Britt Baker has had this massive black and blue eye for the past week or so, and they slapped it on a T-shirt with no form of writing or context or nothing. You just have this shirt with this beautiful woman with a massive black and blue eye, and just thinking that in 2023, just going to the grocery store having this shirt on. What do you think people are thinking? There's very split people on this, thinking a lot of domestic abuse maybe, or that you kind of support giving women black eyes, or, I personally, I didn't even think about it until I saw it on a T-shirt, and then I was like, oh, that's not a good idea, because Becky Lynch got her face busted open a couple years ago, and they didn't slap that shit on a T-shirt. They didn't have to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what they're trying to recreate. I think is their own version of that. But yeah, talk about ham-fisted.
Right? Do we need to slap it on a fucking T-shirt? So there's a lot of people talking about it might come down, these shirts might come off. So if you want it, you might want to buy it now. They're going on eBay for $35, or shop AEW for $29.99. But Chris Jericho recently wore one on Dynamite the other day. But I just thought that'd be something funny to bring up because, I think it was funny because there was somebody who's stupid enough to greenlight that and like, yeah, let's slap it on a fucking shirt.
Very, very tasteless.
With
like,
no
imagine
whatsoever.
Yeah, like imagine like some kid wears that to school.
Right?
And what type of they're just asking for a controversy that I don't think they want.
Yeah, man, you don't want to walk into fucking IHOP with that shirt on International Women's Day. Like, it's not the fucking shirt you want to be sporting.
Ooh, I had to look it up to see it.
Yeah, you gotta look it up.
Yeah.
It's I mean, like,
cringe AF.
I mean, like, I don't even know at this point what you could write on the shirt. Be like, like, I don't even know what you could write on the shirt for it to be justified as like a cool shirt. Like, I even as a wrestling fan, like, I can't think of anything. But like, that's just a picture that you could put on your Instagram, her Instagram, and then be done with it. Like, that was the thing with Becky Lynch. Like, when she busted her fucking face open, yeah, we saw videos of it. We did see pictures of it, but at the end of the day, nobody slapped it on a poster or a fucking T-shirt. It wasn't my fucking wallpaper on my computer. Like, some people just don't know how to. I don't know. Just fucking stupid. I laughed when I saw it on the shirt because I was like, this is dumb, because somebody suggested it on a shirt. Then that went through a couple other people who were like, that's a good idea. Let's sign off on it. And then people went to work and printed that shit and folded that up, merchandise, and packaged it, and still thought that was a good idea. Then they put this merch on their website.
I can promise you there were no women in the room when that decision was made.
Probably right. Also, former WWE wrestler Naomi, as known as Trinity, who is no, I always fucking get this wrong. Which Uso she with Jay or no?
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jay?
It is Jimmy. I always mess it up. But yeah, she made her debut on Impact Wrestling the other day. Good for her, right? She's back in the ring doing something, after her and Sasha both, left, the company together, and they took their tag team titles and they took their ball and went home, right? And, recently, Sasha Banks, known as Mercedes, is that what she's going as right now?
Mercedes Moné, or
Yeah, Monet.
Mercedes.
She's going around saying that she's gonna keep doing her thing until she's bigger than John Cena. And I was like, good luck with that.
Funny.
But Naomi, I'm thinking like, yeah, occasionally it's rare. On a Thursday, I might swap to Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling it's just not interesting to me. You got like maybe like 80 people there. It feels smaller than an NXT night sometimes. And now she's like a big fish in a small pond. And I'm thinking to myself, what if she would have stuck around? What if she didn't walk out with Sasha? What if she would have stayed? She could have maybe, possibly, very likely been part of the bloodline. And they could have used a strong female character because we have them in a lot of other stables. Now we have Michin in the OC. We have Rhea Ripley in Judgment Day. We could have had Naomi in the bloodline, and it would totally have made sense.
And we're doing a lot more mixed tag matches these days, which I love. And I wish they would do that tournament they did a couple times, the mixed tag tournament. I love that shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's all
time, and it's fun.
Yeah. And I'll put it in front of you guys right now. Like, if you had to choose one of the three women to go in the bloodline, would it be Tamina, Naomi, or Nia Jax? And you're probably going to pick Naomi out of that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All day.
Okay.
So, like, not only, like, I feel like she would have been way more relevant now. She'd be making way more money, and she'd be wrestling in front of a way bigger crowd. I mean, I know for her mental health and everything, she's happy where she's at. Great. But I feel like she totally missed the ship. She totally missed it. And, now I feel like whenever I feel like wrestlers leave WWE and go to a place like Impact, it's fucked up to say, but I always feel like you're taking a step back. Like, maybe not so much when you go to AEW, but when you go to Impact, to me, that's a step back.
Yeah, that's all well and good, and sure, the WWE we know in professional wrestling, it represents the top of the mountain. It represents the grandest stage and all. Right. But I can't fault somebody for putting their own happiness and mental health first.
Mm-hmm.
If she wasn't happy, I mean, for context, I mean, have you heard the interview that she gave with Busted Open Radio recently?
I've not heard recently. Have you heard it?
I've listened to the clip, and there's a quote that she stated, explaining her exit. I don't have the clip. I don't have the clip to play, but I can read the quote.
Yeah,
and what she said is, and I'm quoting, "I felt very stagnant and I wasn't happy. Ultimately, I left that day because of the way I was talked to and handled. Everything just kind of broke me that day. It had nothing to do with anything else, anyone else. But to go through all that backlash and all the negativity and the lies and the rumors, and then to also just kind of feel lost, it broke me. It was probably the lowest I've ever felt in my life." That is a direct quote from her talking about why she left WWE.
And that sucks.
Right. Really, and it sucks for her to be in that place. So something can be, the mountaintop. It can be the biggest thing and all. But if you're there and you're completely miserable and you're not happy and you're feeling lower than ever and you feel like maybe within the company you're being disrespected, I can't fault somebody for leaving that. Even if she's going to something that's smaller, or a smaller promotion, or, a lower, step, or, again, a lower tier promotion or whatever. If she's happier and she feels like she has more creative freedom and she is in a place where she is satisfied with her decision, and ultimately, again, she's happy, then I'm happy for her. And ultimately, that's all that matters. And just because she left WWE doesn't mean that the years down the line she can't come back. We've seen plenty of people leave and come back before, and who knows, she can possibly even come back bigger than she was when she left. So ultimately, it's her choice, and her mental health and her happiness and her freedom to do what she wants with her professional career and her character comes first. So as long as she's happy, if she likes it, I love it.
Mm-hmm. The last thing I have here for our news segment, Bray Wyatt has got a new writer for him. So hopefully, 6 months from now of promos and teases, we'll get a match. I kind of just like rolled my eyes because honestly, I'm kind of over Bray. Like, me and Doyle were there when he came back at Extreme Rules, and the excitement was so there for him to be back. I was so happy he was back in the company. But the build for anything for him just took so long, and it felt like he was just treading water, and we were going nowhere. And I get it. He was having some mental health issues, and there was rumors going around that he was physically not in shape. That's why he had to walk away for a while. I'm sure there's probably a lot more to it than we know, but like I'm just we still don't even fucking okay. We kind of know who Uncle Howdy is. We still don't fucking really know per canon, but I mean, I still think it's Bo Dallas, but I mean that's another storyline that's kind of dropped. I feel like with Alexa Bliss out, if they do plan on reuniting her and Bray and Uncle Howdy, have these three together, maybe form a larger stable, add somebody else to it. I don't know. Like I'm just the excitement for Bray is it's gone, because when I see him come back, whether it's like SummerSlam, whatever, I'm just like, okay, cool, he's back. Now we got months of promos, I guess, and just weird vignettes, right? So that's just my take on Bray Wyatt coming back.
Yeah, it's all one big yawn until we actually see him on television. Even if he has another writer, there's still no tentative date for his return or no timeline for his return. So this is all kind of meaningless until we see him back on television. And
right,
once we see him, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I have zero interest in anything involving Bray Wyatt until we actually see him on WWE television again.
Right.
Hoping all the best for him with whatever he's dealing with, whatever illness he's dealing with, whether it's physical or mental or whatever he's dealing with. Wish him all the best. That always comes first. But as far as the character,
Well, guys, that's all I got for news. Do you guys have any news before we're gonna go take a break here in a hot second? Anything else you want to add to the news? Anything that I may have missed? Any breaking news?
No, not that I've seen.
All right. Well, here's what we're gonna take a break, and we'll come back and we will break down our predictions for Backlash. Yes. So let's take a break.
What? Oh yeah! What? Oh yeah!
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
Okay, and we are back, and we are going to talk about Backlash. Okay, so Backlash, if you don't already know, is going to be in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are on the poster here. I never thought I'd see the day that Damian Priest would be on the poster of anything. Bad Bunny?
Bunny is in the graphic for everything. Also, that's weird as fuck.
Yeah. But you know what though? It's just like, okay, I understand that, right? But Damian Priest, never again. He better get himself a poster of that and hang it on his wall, because I don't think Damian Priest is gonna be on the cover, and unless it's the Royal Rumble and he's in there with 29 other guys. Only 7 matches. 7 matches. We're going. Let's go through this here. First one they.
Wouldn't you like to talk about the history of wrestling in Puerto Rico first?
What? Let's do that with your segment. The more you know. Doyle, before we kick this off, let us know some facts.
This is going to be super duper abridged. Because this could be hours and hours and hours. So I tried to make this as quick and concise as possible. But before researching any of this, if you'd asked me to describe Puerto Rican wrestling in one word, I would have said blood. And I turns out wouldn't have been wrong. But Puerto Rican wrestling has a lot more to offer than that. And it was actually a pretty nice little melting pot where a number of different styles kind of mixed together and forged into something unique that has in turn gone on to influence others from Mexico to South Philly to Japan. As with many places, professional wrestling first appeared in Puerto Rico on a television screen. But of course, these were all foreign companies, and Puerto Rican stars were rarely featured. However, there were a few Puerto Rican stars bumping around the United States at the time. Notably, of course, was Pedro Morales, who was actually the first Triple Crown winner in WWF history. But other than that, winning the world IC title and tag titles. Other than that, the only really pre-promotion days name of note is Gilberto Gypsy Joe Melendez. And besides being the first to perform an off the top of the steel cage move, a feat that is often incorrectly attributed to the murderer, not the only murderer we'll be talking about here, but the murderer, Superfly Jimmy Snuka. He's also featured in a kind of infamous New Jack incident, which you can find on YouTube, where New Jack basically is beating the shit out of a 60 or 70 something year old guy. And it's just as sad as it sounds. But it's out there if you want to find it on YouTube. New Jack versus Gypsy Joe. Anyway, that all changed in 1960 when the first local promoter, sports commentator, Jose Antonio, this name I'm going to butcher, Gaegel, gets together with local wrestlers Tomas Marin and El Electrico, who had both learned to wrestle abroad, as well as a smattering of foreigners, and they start the first promotion in Puerto Rico. That promotion never gets a name, but it does manage to get a local TV deal. The promotion gets sold a couple times, and a guy named Arturo Mendoza who is not Puerto Rican, ends up buying the company. And he's really only notable because he starts bringing in other Latin American talent from outside of Puerto Rico. And that's when the kind of melting pot I started to talk about kind of starts. You kind of start to get a mix of kind of the Mexican lucha style, a little bit of high flyer stuff, as well as the kind of more American brawling style. All starts to sort of mix together. But he doesn't do very well, and he eventually sells to Joe Ramiro, who brings in almost exclusively Americans, pushes most of the local talent to the side, and his business just goes absolutely in the shitter. And by the time the promotion closes in 1966, there's only 2 Hispanic wrestlers left on the roster. Now, this, of course, leaves a void in which Clarence Luttrell and Eddie Graham, hey, finally a name we might recognize, form the cleverly named L&G Promotions. Now, they start running regular cards, but again, they're using foreign talent, and they're not really doing very well. They bring in Jose Lothario. Yay, another name we might recognize. And they bill him as Puerto Rico's adoptive son. Now, this is successful. They end up getting a TV deal, and new stars start to emerge. And the only one of them which really stood out was El Vikingo, who is, of course, the father of the son of the Viking. Other promotions even start to pop up. We got King Wrestling and National Wrestling. They have their own championships, but they're not super important like they are today. And because there's no internet, they can bring in foreign champions. Now, they end up rarely losing to the local competitors, but they're still bringing in some names. But by the mid-'70s, all three promotions had closed. But why, if things were going so well, did King and National, as well as L&G, close up shop? At this point, L&G has Dusty Rhodes, Mike Graham, Les Thornton, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Jerry Briscoe, Don the Rock Morocco, Dory Funk. They got names, you know. Well, they closed because in 1973, Victor Goviga and Carlos Colon Sr. start Capital Sports Promotions, and which would eventually become the World Wrestling Council. Gorilla Monsoon, oddly enough, was an early investor with them. Now they get a TV deal right off the bat, and they make TV like the central part of their promotion. And Super Esta Tres de la Lucha Libre starts airing in 1973, and it's still on the air to this day. I know Raw just had its 30th anniversary, but they just had their 50th. So CSP starts off relatively unknown, but they're using local talent in their programming, highlighted, of course, by Colon himself. And Carlos Colon Sr. is kind of like Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan all wrapped up into one person. So he's the owner, he's the promoter, and he's the top babyface. But they also start running shows in the island's more rural municipalities, thus avoiding direct competition with L&G in the city and routinely selling out stadiums due to the lack of competition. Another way they separated themselves was through the use of gimmicks. They brought in Victor, the wrestling bear, and almost every star in the promotion at the time worked with them. They were also influential in bringing in minis, or little people, as we might refer to them today, and that became an attraction. They also featured women's wrestling, which also at the time kind of a afterthought attraction kind of thing. But women's wrestling never really establishes a foothold in Puerto Rico, so it's going forward not going to be a major part of the story. But it was the use of gimmick matches that reverberate throughout the wrestling world the most. Puerto Rico was the first place to run death matches, and they were the first place to use fire in their matches. Not sure that was a great contribution. You can leave that up to your own decision. The promotion proved so popular, in fact, that in the early 80s, they actually joined the NWA, becoming the most prominent territory in the Caribbean. And now with a cast of well-known local talent, as well as Colon's newfound NWA cred, and a veritable who's who of stars of the time being regularly appearing for the promotion. You got Dusty and Jack Briscoe still. You got Harley Race, The Funks, Giant Baba, Kerry Von Erich, Ronnie Garvin, Andre the Giant. Now, during this time, the promotion is consistently ranked in the top 5 promotions in the world. But it is Colon's years-long feud, a forever fight, if you will, against Abdul the Butcher that really established Puerto Rico's reputation as a bloodbath territory and established itself as one of the pillars upon which the hardcore style, as we call it today, of wrestling would be born. Now, these were big stadium matches, and they involved fire and chains and barbed wire and steel chairs and buckets of blood. And if you're into that sort of thing, again, you're going to find all sorts of it on YouTube. And, if you look at a picture of Carlos Colon or Abdul the Butcher today, their foreheads look like death metal band logos.
Shredded.
Absolutely.
But and everything was going great for CSP until July 17th, 1988. which would become one of the more infamous days in pro wrestling history. Jose Gonzalez, also known as Invader One, summoned Bruiser Brody, one of my all-time favorites before, like, I think I was 9 when this happened. So this is a guy I've seen on YouTube, but I wish this guy had stuck around a little longer because he would have been great. So he summons Bruiser Brody into the showers, because that's where he discussed business back in those days. And they got into an altercation. During the skirmish, Gonzalez stabbed Brody in the lung, an injury he would later die because of. Now, I'm not going to relitigate the Bruiser Brody story. There's plenty of places you can go to for that. Dark Side of the Ring did a whole episode about it. But I say that to say that prior to the murders, Capital Sports had planned to start selling pay-per-views in the United States. Can you imagine what the wrestling landscape might have looked like had that happened? But who knows what it might have been. I mean, that idea gets scrapped and is never reconsidered. And the business takes a huge hit. They eventually rebrand themselves as the World Wrestling Council. And it really isn't until another promotion, International Wrestling Association, comes along that the popularity of wrestling in Puerto Rico starts to kind of come back. And, much like WCW versus WWF back in the day, the competition ended up bringing out the best in both federations. And they ended up running an honest-to-God invasion angle that actually worked. What that must have been like. And the IWA eventually gets absorbed into the WWC. Carlos Colon Sr. would eventually retire and unretire and retire and unretire, eventually piling up 26 reigns with their world title, as well as many other mid-card and tag team reigns along the way in his illustrious WWE Hall of Fame career. He is, of course, the father of Carlito, who we probably all remember. I think we've seen during the Ruthless Aggression era, as well as Primo. He's the uncle of Epico, and I'm not sure if he's any relation or not to El Torito. Anyway, some other Puerto Rican wrestlers you famously may remember: Savio Vega and Los Boricuas. Savio Vega was, of course, instrumental in Stone Cold Steve Austin's build. And, of course, the Puerto Rican legacy is carried on today with Damian Priest and Zelina Vega, both who have pretty big weekends coming up this Saturday at Backlash.
All right.
And if you'd like to learn more about Puerto Rican wrestling history, visit your local library.
Or look up Wikipedia.
Or do that.
Or just Google it on Wikipedia.
The more you know. Damn, dude, that was a lot. That was good, though. That was educational. I heard flipping some pages over there.
Dude, I had to, cut so much. I basically stopped in 1988. I was like, this is too much. But they're still going strong. I mean, the Clones really built a fucking empire, really, down there. And if you watch any of those Tales of the Territory shows that Vice did, they all talk about how great it was to work in Puerto Rico.
Now, if anybody's wondering, we did edit the show later, and he actually went on for another hour and a half, and we just had to finally just cut it. So this is the best we were able to edit it down to.
That's when we needed the music from the Academy Awards to start playing.
Yeah, we need to just just cut them short.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go into this pay-per-view here. First match they have listed: Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso with Paul Heyman. This 6-man tag match. You know what? I'm thinking, because there's no titles at stake, and the Usos have been kind of losing matches since, losing against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn constantly since WrestleMania's been over. I feel like they might try. They need a win. They need a win, believe it or not, over the good guys, because Roman is looking over their shoulder. He sent the wise man to look over him. He's He's had Solo Sikoa. I don't know what's going on with him. I the other week I thought that something might go down. Matt Riddle interfered, but it seems like more and more every week there's cracks in the foundation of the bloodline, and I feel like they need this win, or Roman's gonna have their ass in a sling. But I think with Solo they could get it done. What did Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Matt Riddle gain from this win? There's nothing really at stake. Another tag match. This is probably going to be, honestly, I could see this one opening the show. If not, the United States title maybe opening the show. Dre, what do you think?
Personally, I hope that this probably will open the show. I kind of hope another match would open the show just to get it the hell out of the way. This one, yeah, it's probably going to be Austin Theory winning the match and continuing. I would like if Bobby Lashley won, but I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, it'll happen. There'll be there'll be some big spots. The best thing that could happen in this match is that Austin Theory actually competes in the match and doesn't spend like over half the match hiding outside of the ring while Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed beat the crap out of each other. And
right. What do you think about the 6-man tag match with Riddle, Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Bloodline?
Oh,
yeah. What's your thoughts on?
I just heard.
I thought I had fallen asleep. We had missed my turn.
Super excited. I thought I was the United States title match, but
my fault. I heard the United States. Oh, my fault.
I said that's what I think should open the show. But
all right, that's what I heard. My fault. I got complete track. Okay. 6-man tag. Yep. Yeah, the 6 tag. That's gonna be probably the faces going over.
Right.
I don't see anything surprising happening, and Jimmy and Jay taking a loss is going to further the storyline that they have with Roman's dissatisfaction with them, and ultimately leading maybe to their ousting at some point. And it'll be the match that'll send the people home, not send the people home happy, but make the people happy with the faces getting a win. Really, honestly, this match is really all about, as most bloodline matches have been, it's about the bloodline and furthering whatever storyline they have going, which right now is Jimmy and Jay being on a losing streak and possibly getting kicked out. So I don't see that changing with them winning this match in any way.
Cool. Doyle, what do you think is going to be the outcome of this 6-man tag team match?
Yeah, I mean, I also think the faces are going to go over. Really, the only intrigue here is what is Solo going to do, right? Heyman said to him the other night, tonight's the night or whatever, but then that never paid off. So I'm wondering what it was the night for, right? Maybe we'll find out. This might be a great time to finally either turn Solo on both of the Usos or just Jay or something like that. But I think the faces are going to win. And if there's a surprise per se, I feel like you could say this with almost every high profile match, but will Randy Orton get involved? He's got a little history there. He's Riddle's buddy. The Usos beat them for the tag championship. This, if they're gonna bring him back, this might be a way to do it. And that would be really the only really intriguing thing here, I think, for me. And unless this is where they do the double pin situation or whatever and split the titles up and give the Usos one of the belts and Sammy and Kevin the other set. I don't know, but
would they pull that off in a 6-man tag match though?
Oh yeah. It's going around, Dre.
Free bird rules. They'll do whatever they want if they do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right. True. But yeah, I think the faces go over.
Yeah, it would be now.
This whole
Yeah, it would be interesting though if after they lost, if Solo just gave both of them gave Jimmy and Jay the beat down and just mauled the crap out of them for losing. Like if that was some secret directive he had gotten from Roman, that would be interesting.
Or maybe it's just Jay. Or maybe Jimmy and Jay turn. Or maybe Jimmy and Solo turn on Jay.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, maybe like Jimmy is the one who gets pinned, so Solo starts beating the crap out of him, and then Jay gets to fighting back to defend his brother, and then
Yeah. That's really the only intrigue here.
yeah, like I said, it's all about the bloodline.
Carlos, am I the only one who's crazy to think that the Bloodline might win this?
Yes.
All
I
right, I'm
believe
crazy.
that you are the only one crazy enough to believe that they're actually going to win, because it looks like this is all leading to the separation of the bloodline and just causing more rift between the brothers. Even though they reconciled to get the title match at WrestleMania, uh, they're causing that rift again, and who knows if it's going to be just both of them breaking off, because of they seen how Sammy's been telling them that Roman is only out for himself and he doesn't want anything unless they're able to help him retain his title. Title now, no longer titles. But I think one interesting twist might be, what if now it's Jay that ends up being loyal, like someone had brought up that Jimmy takes the pin, and then Solo starts beating on him, and Jay has to try to stop Solo, but then he ends up beating Jimmy along with Solo, just because in the beginning of the Bloodline, Jay was the first outsider to try to challenge Roman, and now he is now fully committed to Roman, vice versa, role reversal, things like that, But I do believe that the faces, Sammy, Matt Riddle, and KO will end up winning hands down.
So in your scenario, is Jimmy getting beat down as punishment, or is he getting beat down and kicked out?
He's getting beat down as punishment, which would eventually later on will end up him getting kicked out, and now it'll be him trying to redeem his brother.
So he just gotta wear an ass whooping and then still be in the bloodline like it's cool? Damn.
Hey man.
Tough.
Well, that's how Jay got in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Well, yeah, but that was like in a match. He beat him down. He beat Jimmy down to make him quit, and then they made him submit. But damn, just like just fucking abusive relationship status. Like you lost, motherfucker. You finna wear this ass whooping.
You got that going on one
still
channel.
acknowledge me. That's cold.
Women with black eyes on the other channel.
Right.
The whole thing's
pretty goddamn dark. Shit.
Hey, that's the way I roll.
You lose and you just get stomped out, but you still in.
You have to commit to that whole mob kind of storylines, because this is where it kind of is right now.
Oh man, once you're in, you can never leave. The second match they have listed here is Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, just a regular singles match. The way I feel like this is gonna go down is Cody might win with a roll up, and Brock will just beat his ass down, and we might not see Cody for a while, and it'll just further their feud, and we'll see them face each other again. I don't really feel like Saudi, would that be like, that'd be way too soon for them to go again, but fuck it, it's Saudi.
Not if the Saudis want it.
Yeah, if the Saudis want it, we want to see Brock Lesnar again. I could see that totally happening. But yeah, I like this. I think Cody needs this win over Brock. I mean, if he can't beat Roman, you want to still be considered a legitimate main event star. I think beating Brock will definitely be a good way to keep his head above water here. Dre, who you think Brock's gonna destroy Cody after he takes him to Suplex City, or you think Cody's gonna get the win here?
Yeah, see, I was thinking about Bianca and Io Sky, and I'm kind of wondering about. No, I'm joking.
I see.
I was like, not again.
No. I'm joking.
What podcast are you on?
and I think Cody wins this one as well. I have a hard time seeing them. I know there's that Doyle, you're kind of on the thing, like he has to go through the trials and tribulations of Cody Rhodes before he can come back up. I just don't know how far they're gonna beat him down. I can't see him taking another loss to Lesnar after just losing to Roman. So I feel like he's gonna win. I don't think that there's gonna be a post-match beatdown by Brock that's gonna put Cody out of action for an extended period of time. There might be a post-match beatdown from Brock, but I don't think it's going to be one that's going to take Cody off television for an extended period of time. They just did this draft and the brand split. Cody's probably the biggest face that they have on Raw, even though we already discussed that we think Seth is going to be the one to get the title, and they're going to have that tournament, and they got to crown a champion. And my belief is that the finals is going to come down to Cody and Seth. That can't happen if Brock puts him out of action for months or more. So
yeah, you're right.
So I think Cody will win. He'll ride that momentum into whatever tournament or wherever they have to crown the new world heavyweight champion. My question is that I want to pose to y'all real quick is, do y'all think this match will be the main event or the Bad Bunny Damian Priest match will be the main event?
Bad Bunny Damian Priest.
Yeah, I think so too. Like Doyle said, his fucking face is everywhere.
Right. Okay. Just want to make sure we was all on the same page, because on paper the Cody Lesnar match seems like the big match, like the main event match, but it's in Puerto Rico, and we know that what the crowd actually wants to see most. Okay, yeah, we're all on the same page with that.
Doyle, what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, actually, to Dre's point, this match would have been so much more interesting with stakes. Like, I guess you can't make it a number one contender match because you're about to do the tournament, right? But like making this that would just immediately giving this some kind of stakes somehow. The winner gets a bye in the first round of the tournament. Something, like that would just immediately make this more interesting. But no, I think they're going to put hard times on Cody. I think he's going to lose. I think he's going to put up a hell of a fight. I think he'll eventually get the win back at some point. But no, I think he's going to lose, and he's going to keep losing for a while, or he'll beat glorified jobbers. But I expect him to kind of lose some big matches in the foreseeable future, and this new title is not his story. I've said it before, the WWE Championship that his father couldn't win. That's the story. So eventually you're going to have to bring him around to Roman somehow. Maybe he wins Money in the Bank or something like that. But I think he's going to be beaten down. And I think this is I was going to say the start, not a start, the continuation of that. So yeah, I think Brock wins.
Carlos.
Yeah, Doyle need to stop stealing my notes. I also do think that
Ray steals mine, I steal yours, and
it's a
everybody's
vicious circle.
copying everybody's paper on the test.
So yeah, I agree with Doyle. I do believe that Brock will probably end up being victorious in this match. Reason, just like Doyle was outlining, that Cody Rhodes is the road of suffrage or suffering for Cody.
Yeah, suffrage.
But I don't think that he's gonna win this match. But if they do have the tournament where it's like 6 or 8, wrestlers from Raw that end up in this tournament, I could see Cody actually winning in that matchup, so he could be in the finals with Seth. But as far, to build up that hype that Brock got the win over him, and it was a decisive one. Can Cody overcome the odds to beat Brock to face Seth Rollins for the final match for the title? So that's pretty much where I was going with that one.
So two of us are on Cody's side, two people on Lesnar's side.
Interesting.
I just want to point out that me and Doyle called the whole Roman Reigns retaining the title at WrestleMania. So we got that written down somewhere or recorded down somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't worry. I'll have that written down on my paperwork for the next year and a half. Roman Reigns is going to retain. Next on the list here, they have Rhea Ripley versus Selena Vega for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's Rhea. I mean, come on. Selena Vega hasn't won a singles match since 2021.
How many she had though?
Yeah,
she's been out of action for a minute until she popped back up with Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah, so I know.
But even still, she's
the last time I remember Zelina wrestling was when she was Queen Zelina, and then they had that one match with Rhea, and then Rhea doubled her over to be on top of her, and that's the last time I remember her wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty cut and dry here. I mean, Rhea's gonna fucking destroy her.
There's no argument I can make for Zelina.
I mean,
this one.
I feel like as a group, we can all agree and sweep this one, right?
We all agree Rhea's going to win. I do not believe Rhea's going to destroy her because it is in Puerto Rico. So
it's going to
get some offense in. She's
10,
going
12-minute match.
Right. You're right. It's not going to be like Rhea versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, but I believe Zelina will have a good showing, and she's gonna get her moment. She's gonna get her offense in because of the Puerto Rican of the obviously hometown crowd. But ultimately, yes, Rhea is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I think as we've learned, the Puerto Ricans love to cheer their own, and if you give them other people, they will stop attending and put your company out of business. I think we've learned that.
Right.
So, like, I think a Vega win would be huge, but it's not going to happen.
Right. It would be huge. If there had been some build up to it, if she was primed to be a champion, sure. But yeah, it's not going to happen. What's really interesting to me, honestly, I want to know, and I don't mean this in any kind of perverse way, I want to know what Zelina Vega is going to wear. Because anybody who follows her outfits in the ring, Zelina Vega is probably one of the best dressed wrestlers in WWE when it comes to ring attire. She does not fucking miss.
No.
All of her outfits are absolute fire. So I'm wondering what she about to pull out for Puerto Rico.
When's that Street Fighter 6 game coming out?
I don't know when that thing's coming out. But hell, that jury outfit she did for the Rumble. Heat.
She might do some more cosplay for that game, since she's the special commentator.
I don't think she's going to do that for this because it's the hometown crowd. She's going to do something specific for Puerto Rico for that national pride.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And whatever it is, she about to kill it.
I also would like to point out that despite Rhea's association with Dominic, she's still having trouble getting heel heat on herself. And I think her beating, at least for the night, Zelina Vega in Puerto Rico will get her fucking the heat, at least for the night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll boo her out still there. She's
going to be booed, instead of the, kind of 50-50 reaction, even I would say 60-40 face reaction she gets. She's going to be a fucking heel.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's good.
Yeah, it'll be good for the night. It'll be good for the show. It'll come across good on television. And then Monday they'll be back in the States and they'll cheer her all over again. But for the night, oh yeah.
Maybe.
I I mean, she'd have to do something like really fucked up to Zelina Vega, like during the match or after the match, to carry the heel heat back here home to the States. And I don't think that the WWE would book that.
I mean, she gave Beth Phoenix the double concerto after Edge had already quit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she's done some evil shit.
Right. Yeah, she definitely has.
Mm-hmm.
She still gets cheered.
Yep.
Okay, so group agreement, Rhea, you're gonna win. Next match they have on here is Seth freaking Rollins versus Omos with MVP, which to me just came out of like left field. I mean, Seth freaking Rollins is gonna win this. Same kind of with Cody Rhodes here. They need the momentum going into this world title tournament at Night of Champions in Saudi. So, and come on, like you can really have Omos, free agent Omos beat Seth freaking Rollins? I don't think so. I think Seth Rollins will get thrown around a bit. But at the end of the day, I feel like somehow, some way, he's going to be able to curb stomp the big son of a bitch. Dre.
Oh, the most unnecessary, unpromoted, nobody asked for this match on the entire card. Hopefully, this is the first match and they just get this shit over and done with and out of the fucking way. Yes, Seth is going to win. This, I don't know what much more we can say about it other than ranting about how terrible the buildup is and how this match came out of nowhere. I mean, this past Monday, Seth gave more attention to the title and Heyman and the Bloodline, and had a match. Who did? No, he didn't have a match this past Monday, but he gave more attention to that than his upcoming match with Omos. Like, they did nothing on the Go Home show to promote this match whatsoever.
They haven't done anything on.
They haven't done shit with it. They just said, "Hey, this is happening," and they was like, "Okay." And like, so there's no investment. There's no reason for anybody to give two shits about this match. Everybody knows who's gonna win. So throw it on first. Give it 8 minutes. Let Seth win, and then move on.
Yeah, well, I mean, his I think on Twitter his reaction was, okay, to finding out that match had been booked. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is totally a why, like why, similar to why Omos and Brock at WrestleMania. Why?
Right.
Right.
I really can't see Omos winning, but he has to win a match at some point, right? Like,
no.
I think we talked about this a little bit earlier.
He does win matches against local jobbers,
but he has to win a big match at some point.
Only if they plan on doing something with him. Otherwise, he's just he's the big guy that other guys beat to look good.
I mean, if he's not already irredeemable, he's getting very close to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he might as well come out in the Giant Gonzalez's costume, with the furry shoulders and the painted on it, the only way, and I mean the only way, I could see Omos somehow winning this match is if immediately he and Seth face each other in the tournament for the championship and Seth beats him. But there's no reason for Omos to win this match. And as we all think, I think that Seth is going to be the new champion. You can't have him losing a match here right before that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's Seth. It's Seth, quote unquote, freaking Rollins.
This goes back to WrestleMania for me, and his match with Lesnar. And why I say Omos, if they were going to do anything with him, he should have won that match at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Imagine if this was Omos coming off of WrestleMania, having beat Brock Lesnar.
Sure. Then it's a
feasting Seth Rollins. Then it's a toss-up. we could conceivably see Omos winning this match, and it could go either way. And even if it had very little to no buildup, there would at least be some interest in it because we'd be like, yo, Omos just whooped up on Lesnar at WrestleMania and got a dub, got a significant dub. But nope, that didn't happen.
Probably would have been Wayne's top 3 picks for the title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He could have been a legitimate contender for that. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Carlos, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking Seth finds a way to get that W over Omos. Just, it's gonna be like maybe 7-minute match because he almost can't go that long. I mean,
No, you can't.
he still hasn't built up any stamina, so who knows how many moves he's gonna be able to pull off before he gets winded. And maybe Seth can carry him to like maybe the 12-minute mark, but this is gonna be a very quick match, obviously. And I think I would prefer to see Seth Rollins try to give almost a pedigree instead of a curb stomp. If we're trying to call out what finisher Rollins uses for this match.
You're calling pedigree?
I'm gonna call pedigree, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna call a stomp off like the second rope or something.
Yeah, I was just have the top rope. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, you never know. Maybe it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Might have to use both to put him down.
I'm like, hell, could Omos even take a pedigree?
Yeah, right.
Big as that fucker is.
Take a curb stomp.
We'll find out on Saturday.
He can bend over and fall to the mat for a curb stomp, but shit. Trying to fit that big motherfucker between Seth Rollins' legs for a pedigree.
All right. Well, we'll get into the match that Dre was just too goddamn excited about. We're going to the United States Championship match. Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed in a triple threat. Now, Bronson Reed
one we're all here for.
Is on a different he's on Raw. And Bobby and Austin Theory are now on SmackDown. So if there were any possibility, it would be Bobby. But I feel like they're going to keep Austin Theory going with this title reign. I feel like he's just going to somehow sneak in and make. I feel like Bronson Reed will probably take the pin. I feel like Lashley, if he's going to do anything, he's going to be fed to Roman because Roman doesn't have many opponents on SmackDown. I think Roman's first feud would be with like AJ Styles in the OC, but eventually, Bobby's gonna, be in that picture. But yeah, I it's gonna be some shit heel move. Bobby and Bronson will do all the work, and then Bronson will get super winded after 5 minutes, and Bobby will probably spear him, and Austin will move out of the way, and Austin will use his finisher and then cover Bronson, and then it'll protect Lashley. That's how I see that going down. Dre.
Yeah, as I was saying in my original rant before I was so rudely interrupted. No, joking. But yeah. Yeah, Austin Theory's probably going to win this. Hopefully he wins it in a heelish way that actually benefits him and makes him come off as a calculating opportunist as opposed to a cowardly opportunist. I think there's a difference between the two, and one serves a heel better than the other. Yeah, Lashley and Bronson Reed are probably going to do all the work because they have the pre-existing beef, and they've been going at it, so they'll have their big meaty men slapping meat match, and then they'll be probably ragdolling Theory around like, "Get your bitch ass out of here. This ain't about you." And then he'll sneak in, but he'll win, and I don't see this win doing anything for him, just like pretty much every win he's had has done nothing for him. But he'll win. He'll continue on as the U.S. champion because I agree with you that Lashley, given that he's on SmackDown now, is probably destined to face Roman Reigns at some point. My guess is probably SummerSlam. Bronson Reed's on Raw, so he damn sure ain't winning this fucker.
Yeah. Doyle.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with both of you. I mean, Lashley should be a contender to Roman on SmackDown. He doesn't need anything with the U.S. title. And Bronson Reed is going to be on Raw, and the U.S. title isn't going there. So, yeah, it does take away a lot of the intrigue. I hope he wins with chicken shit heel tactics. I liked Dre's suggestion that it be more of an outsmart than just a cowardly lion kind of deal. I agree with that. I would like to talk about Bronson Reed a little bit. I never watched NXT, so was he presented as like, what was his presentation in NXT? Was he like
he was a
fashionista?
Yeah, he was a face, but I don't know.
Well, did he wear like these sunglasses and these nice jackets that don't really fit him? Because that was kind of out of left field when he started with that shit. But I do like that they're calling him the natural disaster, because he reminds me a lot of when Tugboat turned on the Bushwhackers and became Typhoon and with Earthquake and was the natural disasters. He looks like his outfit and his body type. He looks a lot like Typhoon to me.
He does.
So I don't know if like that's like an Easter egg that they're calling him the natural disaster or what. Other than that, I don't have much use for Bronson Reed yet. Maybe he'll show me something. Lashley, of course, is Lashley. He's fucking awesome. But yeah, I think Theory's gonna fucking retain, and by chicken shit means.
Carlos.
Okay, so I am actually gonna go with Bobby Lashley is gonna win the United States Championship.
Whoa.
Old choice, Cotton.
And I'm gonna go with it.
Let's see if it works out.
Yeah. Reason being is they still owe him. He was not on WrestleMania at all.
That's true. And
he's been getting it.
That's a great point.
And then the other thing is, if Austin loses the belt on a triple threat, it doesn't really ding him because it's a triple threat. And then the other thing that I have is, if Austin does lose the belt, then that kind of frees him to try to go for the big belt versus Roman. So it's just one of those things where I feel like Austin can probably progress a little bit more, and then Bobby can still kind of hold on to that title until they can find someone on SmackDown that will be the new mid-card title holder. Because I think, as far as Bobby's concerned, he probably does deserve a title shot against Roman. But I think he did lose that one time. Didn't Bobby lose the title to Big E? And then they had that triple threat match with Roman. And then Roman ended up winning.
Yeah.
So, based on that whole thing, I feel that Bobby, even though that's the whole thing where I just brought up the triple threat match, shouldn't really count against you because it's a triple threat match. And if we bring up Steiner math, you have a 33rd and 1/3 chance of beating him, but he's a genetic freak. So you can take your 33rd and 1/3 chance of being beaten and reduce that back down to 25 and whatever. I'm not going to keep going into it, but regardless of the fact, I think
you have a remarkable ability to remember that promo. Good for you.
But I'm digressing, and I believe that Bobby Lashley comes out victorious.
Uncle Bobby.
That's a bold choice, but Carlos, there's something I gotta challenge you on, man.
Go ahead. Flag on the play.
You mentioned that this could free Austin Theory up to go after the big belt. Come on, man.
Dude,
on, man.
look at the
Come
job that
on.
he's had to do on the
Come
Raw
on, man.
roster as the US title champion.
Theory still hasn't recovered from Roman telling him that Daddy's not here no more.
Hey,
He still ain't recovered from that burn yet.
I didn't say he was
he
gonna
ain't
beat
touching.
Roman, but you still had to have people go out there and challenge Roman.
Yeah, people got a challenge, but they also have to at least give some semblance of, standing a chance. I could see.
Yeah, I think Bobby's ahead of him in line.
Right. I could literally see Austin Theory trying to challenge Roman Reigns and Roman literally laughing in his face in the ring.
That's the whole point. Because
could
you gotta have someone out there that could kind of hang as far as vocally wise and cutting promos wise back and forth with Roman. We all know Bobby's not gonna be able to do that.
Sure. And
I mean, if you gotta build a fight for him to come either to Saudi Arabia or if the next title defense that Roman's gonna have is at SummerSlam, you gotta have someone that's gonna build up the hype again. And I just don't see that Bobby's gonna be able to do that. And this will give Austin a chance. You gotta get these guys. You trusted them with the belt for this long. You trusted them to hold down Raw while Roman was pretty much holding both belts captive.
But did he though?
Well, how many main events cards was Raw on Raw that Austin Theory had?
He beat Rey Mysterio.
And that went
He's
over.
been very prominent in either starting off Raw or having the last hour of Raw throughout the whole year.
Okay, I hear you. In all seriousness, though, no, for real. Like in all seriousness, yes, he did get the win over John Cena. That win did absolutely nothing for him. Nobody looked at him any different after getting that win over Cena because of the way the match played out. Because he fucking tapped.
Well, if that didn't happen, if that didn't give him the boost, you have him going over Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed, then that win should give him the bump that you think he deserves to get the respect.
It could, depending on how he wins, and that's why I mentioned that he needs to win in a cunning way and not a cowardly way. We all pretty much suspect. Well, except for you, but those of us who think Theory's going to win suspect that he's going to win through some sort of villainy, some sneak tactic.
Oh yeah,
but it has to be that he seizes an opportunity, as opposed to just sneaks in like a coward. Like for example, what was the triple threat match that he won off of the? It was him, Lashley, and who was the third person in that match? But they had Theory up for a move. Lashley speared that person. Theory fell on top of him and got the pin, which should have worked, but it was executed poorly, so it didn't work out that well. But that kind of match, it didn't really do anything for him. And that's been the problem with Theory this whole time. Also, just side note, another argument against Theory trying to challenge Lesnar, they're both heels. And unless you're going to put Theory on a face turn, he damn sure ain't challenging Roman Reigns. They don't do heel versus heel stuff like that, really. And
correct.
And Theory ain't turning face because don't nobody like Theory enough to make him a face.
Hell no.
So that there's that. But just getting back to the whole aspect of Theory just getting over is, like I said, nothing that he's accomplished has changed how people view him. The whole, like I said, the match with Cena was supposed to be a feather in his cap. Nobody looked at him any different. He's had these title defenses and none of it has really built him up. You argue that he was the one holding down Raw while Roman's been the champion. I would argue that Seth Rollins did way more to hold down Raw as a non-champion than Austin Theory did as the U.S. champion. It's like something in, I've said this repeatedly, something about Austin Theory is just not connecting with the fans yet. He still has not discovered what his character is since separating from Vince. He's been this guy that's just this moment is perpetually stuck in this prove himself phase, and nothing that he's done has proven. It's not sticking for some reason. And I agree. He has the talent, he has the ring ability, he has skill on the mic. He can't quite put it all together in a way that's truly resonating with the audience yet. And until he figures that out, he ain't getting out the mid card. And anything they do try to do to put him above it is going to feel forced.
No, I like him. I think I think he is a piece of shit heel. I think he's working.
Yeah,
The only thing I wish about him was that he would go back to the Van Dyke, because that fucking beard he has.
Tony Stark look. He was going for a Tony Stark look.
Yeah, whatever that beard he has now.
Yeah. Oh, that struggle beard ain't it?
Yeah, he looks like on Jackass when they glued the guy's face and put pubes on it.
Yeah,
right?
That thing ain't filling in, bro. Let it go.
Yeah,
just keep the low facial haircut. That's you.
Right. All right, guys. Moving on. Bianca Belair champion versus Io Sky with most likely Bayley and Dakota Kai for the Women's Raw Championship match.
Mm-hmm.
I think no matter how much interference, I think Bianca Belair is gonna walk out still as champion. Plain and simple. And I still think that they're hinting. I think Bayley and Dakota might cost Io Sky the title because they kind of look like they were hinting at, the group breaking up. So I'm kind of going down that route, like causing Io Sky to lose her chance of winning this title is going to further damage control of breaking up. Plain and simple. Dre.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I believe Bianca Belair is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I am not 100% on this one like I have been on all the previous picks.
Okay.
And this is a big if, but if there was any kind of surprise that could happen on this pay-per-view, of which I don't think there's going to be any, but if there could be one, this is the match that could deliver the surprise in terms of Io Sky getting a surprise win over Bianca Belair and shocking everyone. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's maybe like a 2% chance of that happening. But if they wanted to book it, this would be the match to do it. And this would be the place to do it because this is the only one match that has an opening to me for a true surprise. Because we all know how great Io Sky is as a singles performer. And that video package they put together for her, was surprisingly excellent for a match that seemingly has a predetermined outcome. I saw that video package they put together for Io Sky Monday, and I was like, shit, that's an impressive thing.
Mm-hmm.
It actually made me give a shit about this match as opposed to all these other ones. I was like, it reminded me of just how good Io Sky is, despite, obviously seeing her in the ring and seeing her perform, but reminded me of her potential. And I think Io Sky is primed for a singles run. Not a singles run as champion, but just as going single. More so than Dakota Kai. So I do believe that Bianca Belair is going to win. And the seeds of dissent and damage control could be furthered through some means, whether they cost Io the match or they come out and interfere against her will. Like maybe that we get a backstage segment before the match where Io tells them to stay in the back, like to not come out. Like, I got this. I'm going to take her on by myself. And they come out anyway, and it pisses her off. And she gets distracted and ends up losing or something of that nature. So, yeah, the storyline in this is obviously Io Sky and damage control and, fractures, cracks in the group. But if Io Sky somehow shocks the world and wins, just remember you heard it here first.
That's true. Doyle, do you agree? What are you feeling?
Well, I feel like the WWE always does a good job with their video packages. So I'm not sure that should be a big surprise. Like, as somebody as talented as Io Sky that has as enough on-film highlights, you should be able to piece together a nice little 2-minute clip that'll instantly make me care about you more than I did 2.5 minutes ago. But yeah, I mean, I think Bianca's gonna win, but I'm actually kind of getting sold on Io Sky a little more. I just hope this isn't super overbooked. You know, like I hope this doesn't become a damage control breakup angle or whatever, or Bailey and Dakota continuing and maybe picking up a third somewhere or something. I don't know. I do really like Io Sky. This in a vacuum, this might be the match of the night. If it's not a big schmoz with all that interference. I am getting really fucking tired of Bianca Belair feuding with Damage Control, though. It's time for everybody to move on. I guess they're on different brands now, so. Oh, no, they're not.
No, they're gonna be.
No,
on
they're
SmackDown.
all on SmackDown.
Fuck. I guess that's going to continue.
Right. She was supposed to be over at fucking War Games.
But, like, I feel like, and the reason I'm starting to get sold on Io Sky is because I was talking earlier about what are they just going to end Bianca's Raw Women's Championship reign and start a new one with the SmackDown title? So maybe, and I feel like every now and then they got to pull something that nobody sees coming, just to make you second guess everything, right? Every now and then, and in a vacuum, if Rhea hadn't just won the title, and if she wasn't involved in this faction, and if Dom wasn't so over, I might peg that one for oh fuck, anything can happen kind of moment. But this might be an anything can happen kind of moment. On the record, I'm still going to say Bianca retains, but I can really make a case for Io Sky the more I think about it. And maybe by Saturday I will change my mind. But I'm gonna say Bianca.
Okay, Carlos, are you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bianca, just because of this whole Damage Control thing. He's got a different storyline, different path he's got to go through, and whether it's Bailey and Dakota ganging up on Io and trying to stop her from taking Bailey's place, because Bailey is. Oh no, she's not the role model, but she is one of the 4 horsewomen, and she was brought in to shepherd these 2 ladies, Io and Dakota, through the rigors of the WWE universe. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in, that this is just gonna be, like Dre had been pointing out, that there's going to be some type of interference, whether it's wanted, unwanted, or accidental, either by Dakota or by Bailey, and costing Io a title shot here, or a shot at winning the title.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the possible main event. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in a San Juan street fight. Damian Priest in the main event. That's funny. Better soak it all in, Damian. Soak it all in. I assume we're gonna have a lot of interference. As much as I wouldn't like any at all, I feel like the LWO is gonna interfere. I feel like Judgment Day is gonna interfere. Hell, who knows? Maybe even Carlito will interfere. He's from Puerto Rico. He lives there. That's his hometown. Who knows? Anything's possible. But I think at the end of the day, Bad Bunny is going to get the W. I'm kind of excited for the street fight to see how much of a beating he's willing to take. You know, how much Damian Priest is willing to dish out on him, and also how much Damian Priest is going to take. You know, he's going to take a majority of the beating. I guarantee it's going to be a lot of kendo sticks. I feel like they won't break the Spanish announcers table. They'll break the announcers table. This would be the one time they don't break it out of respect. But
Great if they do a spot where they like go up to it and they're like, no, and then they move over.
That would be funny if they act like they're gonna break the Spanish announcement and they're like, no, and they go and break the American announce table.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's gonna be Bad Bunny. Dre.
Oh yeah, Bad Bunny's winning. He's the host. He's over as fuck, and I mean he's their superstar. So yeah, he's gonna win. What I'm curious about is I wonder if Damian Priest is gonna get cheered as well because he's Puerto Rican, or will he get booed because he's the heel and because he's opposing Bad Bunny?
Mm-hmm.
I could very much see the Puerto Rican crowd just cheering for everything, just because it's two of their own in a match, and they don't give a shit like who's whooping whose ass. They're cheering for all of it, but maybe cheering a little bit louder for Bad Bunny, obviously because he's the babyface. But yeah, this is going to be an entertainment spectacle. We're gonna see, like you said, kendo sticks, weapons out the ass. Damian Priest is gonna ragdoll the shit out of Bad Bunny with power moves. Bad Bunny's gonna get offense by putting in weapons and, you know, an occasional high flying move that he's able to pull off here and there. I could see him putting Priest through an announce table with some sort of splash from a turnbuckle or something of that nature. Yes, we're probably going to see interference from Judgment Day as well as LWO at some point. I can see it happening. Well, okay, I was momentarily hesitant because some of the other members of LWO are Mexican, and and maybe that might not go over as well in Puerto Rico with, you know, the Mexicans coming out, but I don't think that'll be an issue. I think they're gonna cheer because freaking, you know, Dom's gonna come out there who is a super heel, and Finn gonna bring his little pasty white ass out there, and then LWO gonna come out there and start whooping some ass, and that'll be, you know, that'll get the crowd popping like a motherfucker. So yeah, Bad Bunny's gonna win. It's gonna be an entertainment spectacle, and this should be the main event to close out the night on a high note.
Doyle.
I love
Tell me
when
how you
they
think
do
Damian
the.
Priest is gonna win.
What's that?
I said, tell me how you think Damian Priest is gonna win.
Oh no! I think Bad Bunny's gonna win. But I love how it's insert city we're in street fight, no matter what it like, and that doesn't really mean anything. I wonder if there's like and it's always you know, Chicago, New York, Philly.
Chicago
I
street
wonder
fight
if there's a
something
list
back in the day,
of no street fights that like you ever get like a Poughkeepsie street fight or like Des Moines street fight or you know.
a Wichita street fight.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I wonder if there
Wasn't there a Greenwich, Connecticut street fight?
Yeah, you know,
Probably some Mean Street Posse bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, Bundy's definitely going over. Like I said earlier, I think there's going to be a schmoz. Of course, the LWO is going to be involved. Of course, the rest of the Judgment Day will be involved. Like I said, I think this will end. The last shot you will see is 7 people in a ring, all with LWO shirts, celebrating. You know, I could see, you know, sometimes they'll do like a like a dark, not a dark match, but a dark interview, where like somebody will come out and cut an interview that only the audience sees. So I could see Priest coming out before the show and cutting some kind of heel promo, like, oh, I don't live here, so I'm so much better than you, or whatever, just to get the heat. But I mean, Bad Bunny's gonna be so over anyway, like, and I think it'll probably be a testament to his popularity that even the other Puerto Rican guy won't get cheered because Bad Bunny's is so beloved. But yeah, he's gonna win. There's gonna be a crazy spot of some kind. I don't know what it's gonna be, but there's gonna be a crazy spot. I love that idea of the Spanish announce table specifically not getting destroyed. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what a San Juan Puerto Rican street fight is about. Like, are they gonna have some guys walking around with like some type of Puerto Rican kendo stick, or like are they gonna have like some Puerto Rican theme, like chain link fence somewhere? But I guess we have to tune in on Saturday and find out. Bad Bunny should take this down with help of the LWO, which consists of Rey Mysterio, Mexican, Zelina Vega, Puerto Rican. I forget the other guy's name.
Santos Escobar,
Mexican.
Cruz del Toro,
I believe, is also Mexican, and then one Filipino that's in there. So how he's part of the LWO, I don't know, but
Vince ain't paying attention.
Yeah, he's like, you look Hispanic, just go ahead and just
right. Light skin, not black.
Yeah,
Latino.
Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be one of these. Send the crowd happy. Thank you very much for coming out here. We'll be back in 40, 50 years. Hopefully Puerto Rico's still here. And climate change doesn't get to you.
Right.
Cool, guys. Well, that's our predictions for Backlash. Really, not too exciting. I'm not all amped up and excited for this one. But most Backlash pay-per-views aren't that exciting. If you look at the history of them, they all happen right after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of things change,
Yeah. A lot of times they're usually just a bunch of WrestleMania rematches. So props to them for at least booking some different matches. But woof.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they took the WrestleMania out of it, so it's not WrestleMania Backlash anymore.
Right.
They did it for 2 years. I'm glad that's over.
It's just regular Backlash.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. I got a trivia question. This wrestler will be wrestling on the card, but last time he wrestled Backlash was 20 years ago. Who was this wrestler?
God damn, it's got to be Bobby Lashley because he's probably the only one that was on the roster 20 years ago.
Then it has to be Barack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Over 20 years ago was the last time he ever wrestled at a Backlash.
Damn.
Crazy. That was with against Team Angle.
Oh wow.
Oh wow! After WrestleMania 19.
Yeah.
So after he won the title. So who the hell did he team with against Team Angle?
Let me see here. We got Backlash. I'm gonna hair up. Scroll down.
Prime Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, or am I looking at the wrong one? I just saw it, son of a bitch. Now I feel like a fool. A fool, I say. Oh, wait, I'm looking at 2004. Maybe I should be looking at 2003. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, I'm a dumb fuck. All right, Team Angle. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas defeated. Oh, no, wait, that was when they fought against Los Guerreros. I'm sorry. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. In a singles match for the WWE Championship. He defeated John Cena.
Mhm.
That was before John Cena got his first WWE title win.
Oh, well,
So-
before that's.
Yeah.
I think John Cena was. Hadn't he just lost? Didn't he just lose the U.S. title at WrestleMania before? This was Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena.
Yeah. Dr. Thugonomics. Yeah.
Thug life.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Holy shit. Yeah, nobody else. Well, Rey Mysterio was on that card. He defeated the Big Show in 3 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah, Ray doesn't have a match for this pay-per-view though.
Yeah.
Nah, he's gonna show up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll show up though, but it's just crazy to there's two guys who are still and Shelton Benjamin, they're still on the card here 20 years later. But yeah, before we wrap this up, I have
Good news, everyone!
some good news. If you haven't found out, our website is now up. That's right. Somebody was willing to give us a website. That's crazy. So if you go,
$9.99.
yeah, right. No, more like $15.99. Anyway, I got the big package. But Podcast Championship Wrestling onpodium.com. That's on podium, PODIUM.com. I will post links for it everywhere. There is, if you go onto our webpage, it has all of our podcast episodes, which is nice because I make nice thumbnails for them all. So all the thumbnails are on there, nice and blown up. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, there is a link to our Discord, to my Twitter, if you want to reach out, to my email. If you would like to write in a question for us to answer, to talk about a subject or something, send it to us. There's an option for you to do that. They even give you an option to donate to the podcast. If you want to keep this podcast live, you have the option to donate. Also, they have a section where you can do reviews on there. We can leave reviews on that page now, which is awesome. The links for our app go right to Apple, Google, Spotify, everywhere. We're just about everywhere now. I just submitted us back to Amazon, so ours will be on Amazon then. We also now have when I post this, they allow me to link other things. They allow me to link now. We have a SoundCloud and a Tumblr account, which I've never used. You have it, so why the fuck not? So, yeah, we're just about everywhere now. Yeah. So I know you're listening. Gotta leave those fucking reviews. Gotta leave them. We need to know: are we sucking? Are we doing good? Are we terrible? What's going on? We need some input from the listeners, the fans, the peeps. So, Dre, you want to plug anything?
You guys, you know where you can find me, Outlaw Star in the PCW Discord.
That's right. Doyle, before we go, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I am, also in the Discord. And I just want to say, go Celtics, and continue to get better, Nick.
All right. And Carlos, you got anything to plug before we boot you off the show?
Not at this time. There's still the secret project I still got going on, and hopefully I can make an announcement soon. I did book my first guest, but it is going to be a podcast. I can tell you that much, but further details to come. But if you need to reach me to telling me my views suck, or that I was right and Dre was wrong, or how many points or how much money I should bet on the Celtics for Friday night's game, let me know.
Ooh.
You can reach me at Twitter, TOKZ_21. That's Tokes21. I'm also in the PCL Discord, the Pop Culture Leftovers Discord, and this podcast championship wrestling Discord.
Yeah. And with that said, Usos, play us out.
Got out of bed at all. The morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't see it all. Even if I could, it would all be great. Put your picture on my wall. It reminds me that it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
Roman, write us back. Write us back, Roman.
And his name is John Cena.
Give me what I want. Give me what I want.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Oh yeah? Well, screw you guys. I'm going home.
Bye. Have a great time.